Let's tell everybody what we're doing tonight. We are going to shoot the shit here for a second. We're going to get into this interview with Graham, which we posted about this, but I think there was some confusion. It's a pre-record with Graham because of the time change, right? So because it's 7:00 here, it's like 1 a.m. over there.
1 or 2, yeah, something like that.
So we're gonna watch that live. We'll be in the comments with everybody. It's an hour long, and then we have some special guests joining us after. You're gonna want to stick around. Hail, for those in the chat that know, hail, and some other friends too.
Big special guests actually joining us, which I only found out about like when we came into the pre-show, because I'm not very good at what I do for a living, so I don't know what's going on. I fucking clearly don't know what's going on anywhere that I work and have worked.
I look tiny. Am I just shrinking?
Are you falling down? So Mike's been having chair trouble. I think
by the end of the stream.
Like, yeah, he'll just be like all the way down. He's trying to do the AJ drop in, but it's just going way too far. Oh my god.
Okay.
But no, we have a huge show. We had a great chat with Graham yesterday and lots of fun. Like, we have a lot of stuff that will come at the end of the episode, so make sure everyone gets the chats in. We start a new rule where we start with the biggest first on the super chats. I'm going to work our way down and we'll answer as many as we can. And then also, because we have like a constant back and forth with Graham and the fam anyway, I'm sure any questions that you guys submit that you want to submit to Graham, we can either send them to him and get them lined up for like next week's show. Although no, next week we're going to do a conference recap. So we can either send questions to Graham or the next time he's on the show, which probably won't be that long, really, judging by the conversation that we had today. He'll be back.
We did get him to commit to come back after he releases his book, so we've got that.
And before then, well,
I'll
bother the shit out of him. Be like, give me attention, give me attention, please adopt me. No. And then it's gonna be a good show, and
we're gonna have fun after the interview. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna stick around. So stick around. We got some giveaway information too, and we're gonna be hanging out with a bunch of friends. We've got a bunch of friends coming into the stream after the interview, joining us. So hope you guys have your night set aside for you, because we're gonna be kicking it with you for a little bit.
Yeah, and if you're in here now watching us hang out for the next couple of hours, when you're done, you got a new Y-Files to watch that I highly recommend. It's a crazy story, and I know that for a fact because I had to read it like 6 times and then wrote about it for like 2 weeks nonstop, which was stressful, and I still didn't do a very good job. And then after that, I think there's also a new Tommy G out I saw tonight, and he interviewed someone that's like super controversial, but I can't remember who it is. But I don't know. I'm a big Tommy G fan. I love watching his stuff. So we've got some ancient histories. We got some UFOs. We got some modern anthropology, and sociology. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a real good one. Mike is on a sexy I was gonna say the music was kind of sexy.
It's
right.
It's the fireplace.
It's gonna be a sexy episode.
Yeah, if it's working for you.
Oh my gosh! Don't. We're gonna be swatting them away like flies. We're gonna have to get you private security for the conferences. You're gonna be in Austin.
Well, look, I think that was Craig. Who was that? Who left that? No. Okay. I don't know.
I'm not big enough to be your private security.
Yeah. Me and Sammi, Sammy's, I think, too kind. If I wasn't about to be a mom, I think I'd be pretty good at private security, but I'd probably get my ass handed to me because I'm also not big enough to be private security. I am psychotic enough, but I'm not big enough.
That's why you just act crazier than the other person.
Oh,
you just scare them, It's all in the
Have you seen that thing that women do? I've like done this before when I used to work at like bars and nightclubs in my hometown. I would walk to work and it was half like me not wanting men to like follow me because it was about a 3-mile walk, and half like not wanting patrons who would show up later in the night to see me and be like, hey, can I get on the list? Because I had like the power went to my head, right? Like I was on the door of half of these clubs throughout my earlier years. And so people would be like, can I get on the list? No. I know the owner. I'd be like, no fucking way, me too. So I would walk to work with my hood up and I would just be like, no one would stop me because they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with her? So yeah, like maybe we're gonna have you walk around the conference like that, Mike.
Pull it off. I'll pull it off. I'll just get some. I got some bigger glasses. I'll put those on, and I'll shave my beard.
No,
I look like I'm 12 if I shave the beard.
No, you don't ever shave the beard. That's like rule number 1.
I'll shave the beard except for the mustache. Leave that, and then
oh god,
get some big glasses, really big glasses.
Mustaches are a thing. That's what
I
would
look like a different person. I wouldn't even recognize you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would recognize you either.
And I'll pull up in a van.
Oh, great.
Oh my god. I think mustaches are pretty cool though. Like I told my husband that because he always threatens to shave his beard.
It depends. It depends on the guy.
It does depend. I'm scared though if John shaved just his beard and kept his mustache, he'd look just like Ian Carroll, and then he'd start going down the conspiracy rabbit hole like Ian Carroll. And while I'm here for it, I'm not here for it 24/7. Don't want to be married to it. I like that he's a calm guy.
I do want to say we've sold 2 tickets already to Japan since we've started. I'm getting emails.
No way.
Which means there's only 10 spots left in Japan.
That's
we'll talk about all that.
That's so cool. Hell yeah.
At the end and get into it. And maybe what do you guys think? Should we kick it off here?
Yeah.
Pretty good. We got
some good numbers. Even for competing with AJ and Victoria in the team and Jen. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm going to jump in their Slack channel and be like, I messed up. Whoops. Sorry, everyone. But no, we got a good one here. Let's get into it.
Okay, we're going to play this here, guys. We got about an hour with Graham. Enjoy.
Okay.
And we're recording.
Heck yeah. See, we always have technical difficulties.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Graham. I'm sure it won't be the only technical difficulty we have.
Fingers crossed there's no technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We are recording, so we have that handled. Yes.
Sure.
Wonderful.
But we're very good at stumbling our way through our intros, which has become a regular theme on our live streams lately, which is awesome. I think it's expected at this point. Thank you so much for taking the time to connect with us today, Graham.
That's a pleasure, Mike and Kay. Very, very happy to be with you.
Yeah, it feels like it's been such a long time since, well, obviously, Mike and I talk every other day, if not every day, but it feels like it's been such a long time since we sort of individually connected.
Yeah.
And I mean, just since like the first season, I think, of Ancient Apocalypse, since that's come out, you basically revolutionized an entire field of exploration. And there are now, I mean, I've lost track of the number of friends, like legitimate friends that I've made who are in this space exclusively because of you, your work, the community that you've built. I think that what the young kids are calling sort of being like the GOAT, the greatest of all time when it comes to this stuff. And I mean, I like to think that we've all done a lot of work, but not as much as you. You've been doing a lot of work recently.
This is not simply, sort of British modesty. I am not the greatest of all time. I stand on the shoulders of giants. All I'm doing is taking the work forward, which is what everybody else is doing in this field. We're all bringing our own contribution to an ongoing work that has actually been going on for a very, very, very long time. And I'd like to mention my great friend, the late great John Anthony West, in particular, Robert Boval, Robert Schoch, and many others who have, dedicated their lives to presenting an alternative story of our past to the story that is presented by archaeology. This is not to say that archaeology is wrong. It is not to say that archaeology is to be criticized. It's to say that archaeology isn't the only way that we can investigate our past. It should not have a monopolistic role. And I and John Anthony West, Robert Boval, Robert Schoch, and many others working in this field are simply trying to provide an alternative perspective so that people can make up their own minds on the basis of a balanced picture rather than a one-sided picture.
Well, you've absolutely done that, and it's been an inspiration to so many people, myself included. Every time I'm traveling somewhere, I think I kind of maybe wonder what's Graham up to. You're already out doing something. I'm always catching up. I'm trying my hardest to get to as many places as you've been, but
I feel very lucky to have been able to travel to the extent that I have traveled, and the reason that I'm able to do that is because of my readers and people who watch my shows. Again, it's no miracle. I'm liberated to get out there in the field and present my own point of view because people support and encourage my work. It's as simple as that.
Graham, that kind of hits on a topic that I've always wanted to maybe ask you about, maybe dive in a little bit deeper, because it's one of the running themes in my speech for this at the conference this coming weekend in Scottsdale, is just how beyond figuring out the mysteries of our past and cultures and things like that, but just how the personal experience of traveling changes a person. And curious what kind of impact that's had for you, not just the research, but just the actual traveling around the world.
That's a good point. I've been lucky. I've been blessed in this area. My whole life has been about travel. My father was a medical missionary. My father was a surgeon, and he worked as a medical missionary in southern India, in a place called Vellore, in Tamil Nadu. And I was there from the age of 4 to the age of 8, and I spent time in Tamil schools and became integrated into the local culture. I didn't realize it at the time, but that experience of those 4 years in southern India were formative for the whole of the rest of my life. And first of all, meant that I did not regard my home culture as everything about me, as defining everything about me. I couldn't regard that anymore that way. To define any person, it's not enough to say they come from this or that culture. It's a question of what they've then done with their lives. And I was very fortunate from that early experience in India to immerse myself as a child into a very far off, very far away culture from Britain. And it was an enriching and important experience for me, which I think set the trajectory for the rest of my life. I didn't get much traveling in again until I was 23 or 24 years old. That's really when I began to start traveling. And my first big journey was a year in Somalia. And that was because my first wife was from Somalia. I met her in England, but she wanted to go back and live in Somalia for a year. And at the age of 24 and a half, I found a way to do that. We were living on a shoestring, but again, it was an incredibly important experience for me. And that then broadened out into travel throughout the Horn of Africa. I became, from a journalistic point of view, recognized as somebody with a bit of expertise on the Horn of Africa, speaking particularly of Somalia, Ethiopia, and Djibouti. And I became very, very involved in all of those cultures. And it again just set me on this path where travel was a fundamental and integral part of my life. And travel for me means travel with respect. It means I'm going to a place to learn about it, It means I'm going to a place to be taught, not to teach, and to hopefully pass on the lessons that I have learned to those who read my books or watch my shows.
Do you find, as you've traveled to all these different regions of the world and these cultures, is there a takeaway that you've found? We have these connections that we often tie together through cultures around the world in the ancient history community, making these connections in our past through symbolism, construction techniques, and all sorts of stuff. But as people, has there been a takeaway that you found in your interactions with cultures around the world of similarities?
Well, the
day-to-day life.
The biggest takeaway is that although all human cultures may superficially appear to be different, and all human beings superficially appear to be different, at a deep structural level, we are all intimately, closely connected. What divides us is far less important than what unites us, and I think that's one of the problems in the world today, is that we're not seeing this unified vision of the human family. But that's what we are. We're members of the human family, and as far as I'm concerned, every human being is my brother and my sister, and my mother and my father. And I don't care what culture they come from. I don't care what language they speak. I don't care what religion they profess. All I care about is that person and who they are and how they manifest in the world. So in a sense, a lot of travel has allowed me to get rid of those cultural blinkers, and at least I hope so, and relate to other people as fellow human beings, as simple as that, nothing more, and always to do so with respect, and to go into another culture willing to listen, and willing to learn.
I think, for me, with my background growing up and stuff, I always had a deep distrust of people just because of experience in my childhood and things like that. But one thing that changed for me through travel was experiencing exactly what you're talking about. It really shifted for me fundamentally the way that I viewed the world and the people in it, and started seeing people as this value, this add plus to my life, instead of this, a danger or concern. It became this. It became actually the entire focus. It was very unexpected for me. Was the way that traveling affected me in that way.
Yeah. It was interesting before we came on. Before we came online, we were chatting with Sammi about like this being her first experience, just coming back from North Africa and the Egypt trip, and seeing those sort of cultural differences. And like you said, I mean, I've never been to Egypt, but spent a lot of time in Morocco. And yes, there are certain things. I think it's also like different as a woman to go and explore a lot of these places, but not necessarily in a negative way. And I think that there's definitely a perception that going and doing these exploration, like it's harder as a woman. But I don't know. I'm hoping that Sammi will talk about it more when we do the fuller show, because it's a pre-record. But when we do the fuller show, like talking about her experiences and how it's just really not as scary, I think, as people make out. And I know, Graham, you just came back from an Egypt trip, because I've been loving all of the content that you've been sharing on Twitter.
Yes.
Would love to dive into that more as well.
Look, I mean, I've been traveling to Egypt for more than 30 years. The first visit I made to Egypt was in 1989. But all my travels, I can't even count how many times I visited Egypt. All of them, until this trip, have been to the Nile Valley, and have been to all of the incredible, majestic, ancient sites that we find up and down the Nile Valley, from Aswan or even Abu Simbel further south, all the way to Giza in the north. And my goodness, one could spend an entire lifetime studying those incredible temples and structures and the writings that are associated with them. But what I hadn't done was make a real deep desert journey. Of course, all of Egypt is a desert, except for the Nile Valley, which, as was formerly said, Egypt is the gift of the Nile. It's all a desert. It's all the Sahara. But I'd never really traveled extensively in it. So Santha and I put together a trip where we visited the 5 major oases in Egypt. Because if you're traveling in in an inhospitable desert, there's only so much time that you can actually spend in the deep desert. You have to go from place to place where it's possible to live. And so the Siwa Oasis and the Farfara Oasis and the Bahariya Oasis and the Kaga Oasis and the Dakhla Oasis were the central points of this journey, from which we then branched out into deep desert. And looking, just the immediate obvious thing is that this was not always deep desert, that this was once a green and fertile land, and we're talking about the Green Sahara here. And that's why I was interested in making this trip, because this is not a matter that is factually established, but it's a quote unquote coincidence that really intrigues me, is that ancient Egypt as a culture and as a civilization begins to emerge, become archaeologically recognizable on the world stage in what's called the pre-dynastic period. Let's say 3,200 before the current era, about 5,200 years ago. That's exactly the time that the Green Sahara has ended, that it's dried out completely. For thousands of years before that, it was green and fertile, but roughly between 7,000 and 5,000 years ago, it began to dry out really badly. And by 5,000 years ago, it was no longer a green Sahara. And then suddenly we get this huge civilization appearing along the banks of the River Nile. And nobody's really, arguing that there's any connection. And I don't know if there is, but that's why I made this journey. And yeah, I do think there's a connection. I think the Green Sahara is an important missing background to the mystery of ancient Egypt. And while I'm working on a new book, researching a new book, and my whole thing for decades now has been the possibility of a lost civilization. But what I haven't really done is look at the memories that the earliest archaeologically recognizable high civilizations had about their own past. And for that reason, Sant and I made this year our first ever trip to Iraq, obviously to look at ancient Sumer, regarded as the world's first high civilization and the inventor of writing. Intriguing to go to cities like Eridu and Uruk and Ur, and the traditions of an antediluvian time, a time before the flood that is enshrined in Mesopotamian memory. Likewise, Peru has been another focus of my attention this year, because in coastal Peru, we have now with absolute certainty pyramids that are as old or older than the officially accepted dates for the pyramids of Giza. I'm not going to get into the whole morass about how old the pyramids of Giza may actually be, because I think it's a very complicated issue. I think we're looking at a multi-generational project in the Giza pyramids, not at a single generation, but that's just my view. But if we accept the orthodox dates, the pyramids of Giza are around 4,500 years ago, around 2,500 BC. And the pyramids of Caral, Aspero, Penico, and Penico is a bit younger, but Caral, Aspero, and Banduria are as old or older than that. So they immediately do away with the notion that we must, which we're constantly told by archaeologists, that we must dismiss any possibility of a connection between pyramids in the Americas and pyramids in Egypt, that we can't consider any possibility because the pyramids in the Americas were supposed to be much younger than the pyramids of Egypt. Well, I'm sorry, that's no longer the case. The fantastic work of a great archaeologist, Ruth Shady Solis, has revealed that those extraordinary coastal pyramid structures in Peru are at least 4,500 years old, and in some cases probably go back to 5,200 years old, the earliest monumental structures, maybe even a bit older than that. The issue of great interest is that right there at Caral, we have the Supe River. It's a river valley culture. So is the Nile Valley civilization. So is the Indus Valley civilization, which is another focus of my research. So is ancient China with the Yellow River civilization. And in all cases, I'm intrigued by the memories that these cultures have of their background. Like in the case of ancient Sumer, we cannot possibly cut off or separate the origins of ancient Sumerian civilization from what was going on in Turkey, going back to Göbekli Tepe 11,500 years ago or more. These are not separate developments, in my view. They're all integrated, connected developments, and we're looking at a long process that is gradually beginning to reveal itself, but that goes back to something extraordinary that happened around 12,800 years ago, around that time, when I think we lost part of the human story from the record. The best place to look for that missing fragment is in the memories of those high civilizations that all attributed their origins to a former time.
So, okay, there's a lot to unpack there. I kind of want to start with Iraq, because I think it's one of those places that, especially in Western, like modern Western culture, we tend to overlook because of, obvious stuff with like our recent 20+ year war.
Well, yes, Iraq has been a very difficult country to visit for many years, and that is most unfortunate. And Iraq has suffered devastation as a result of the wars to which it has been made subject.
And it's been looted for centuries before then. I mean, you look at like what happened just at Nineveh, the great libraries there. I mean, you talk about like a collection of ancient knowledge. We've got, the first record, at least that we think, or one of the first written records of Gilgamesh. Obviously I think everyone here has an understanding that there are probably records of that in Turkey as well, just in slightly
I've made the case in one of my blogs on my website that an early rendition of the Gilgamesh story is found at Saybuk, and is more than 10,000 years old, which is 5,000 years older than the supposed earliest rendition of the Gilgamesh story. I mean, I'm making the case. I'm not saying this is a fact. Again, this is an area where archaeologists misunderstand my work. I'm trying to look at problems and anomalies in the past and propose an explanation that makes sense to me. And my goodness, when I look at that relief from Saybuk and the figure of the man between two felines and the figure of a man confronting a bull, I am irresistibly reminded of the story of Gilgamesh, the beast master, the master of animals, and particularly the story of Enkidu and Gilgamesh defeating and killing the bull of heaven. It just suddenly popped out to me that that's what the Saybuk scene is about, and I've written a lengthy blog putting forward my arguments in that case. I don't expect everybody or even anybody to accept them, but they're out there for people to think about.
It's amazing read. I read it once, as soon as you released it, and it was, the implications there, if that is what it is, then are massive.
Yeah, it's enormous.
There it is.
It's kind of, it was funny actually. I was writing about it for Mike at the same time as I was writing about the sort of looting, if you will, of what is modern day Mosul, looking back at sort of Ashburn, Nepal's, the destruction of the library, but coming forward to the sort of looting over the last like 200 years or so of the site by, so-called archaeologists. And it was interesting just seeing those two things line up, and then Mike be like, well, have you read Graham's thing on this? I was like, oh my gosh, wait, no, I have. So it was like this wonderful trifecta of seeing that all come together.
I think everything goes back much deeper and much older than we've been taught.
How dare you?
I understand why archaeologists like to play it safe and not to overreach in the statements that they make. But perhaps that's part of the function of people like us, is to take risks and to overreach a bit. Maybe not everything we say is right. Maybe much of it is wrong, but it's worth trying. It's worth putting out the thoughts. It's worth exploring the possibilities rather than getting locked into a rigid, ossified framework where you can only say certain things and only certain kinds of evidence are acceptable. Evidence that you can weigh, measure, and count, for example, rather than the character of stories that are passed down around the world. I mean, my goodness, everybody knows or should know that the flood myth is a global tradition. It is a worldwide tradition. There are hundreds of flood traditions found all around the world. And it's one of the reasons why I find the very easy, very lazy dismissal of Plato's Atlantis story by archaeologists just completely unacceptable, because when they dismiss Plato, they also fail to mention that Plato's story of Atlantis is part of a global tradition. It's part of a global, worldwide tradition of a great culture of prehistoric antiquity that was destroyed in a global cataclysm. And once you connect the story of Atlantis to that much wider framework, it begins to make a great deal more sense. Of course, there are elements of fiction in Plato's story. Of course, there are elements of philosophy in Plato's story. But he, in my opinion, was reaching back into the past and bringing factual information from the past and putting it into his story as well.
Yeah.
How do you think, you know, what you just said there is absolutely true, that we're able to, because we're not inside the academic field, right? There, you know, I don't think anyone, I'll speak for myself, anyone in my position, I'm creating content to hopefully inspire people into going out, seeing the world for themselves, having these experiences that I've had that have been life-changing, right? So we aren't bound by this need to, we're able to entertain ideas above and beyond creatively, what perhaps people in academic fields are restrained by.
That's right. And I wish that that instead of, you know, smearing us and attacking us all the time because we are presenting an alternative point of view, I wish there were some, just even 2 archaeologists, 2 would do, who would say, well, actually, this could be useful. Maybe we can learn something from this, rather than this constant arrogance, this constant dismissal, this constant smearing and sneering at anybody who offers a point of view that is different from the established church of mainstream archaeology. And sadly, it has become a kind of established church. Talk to any of them and they'll tell you, oh, we're all different, we all differ, we all have different points of view. But the bottom line is, when it comes to the origins of civilization, archaeology does have an established church. And that established, the dogma of that established church does not allow any room for any major missing, forgotten episode in the human story. And I think
if there's common ground, where do you think it would start?
Well, I think it starts with, I think it should start with mutual respect. And I think what's needed is for both sides to set aside, to put away the history of antagonism that has been involved in this field, which goes back decades. My work has been attacked by archaeologists ever since I published Fingerprints of the Gods in 1995. Before that, with The Sign and the Seal in 1992, I didn't come in for a lot of attacks, but that book didn't get to #1 in the bestseller lists. Fingerprints of the Gods did. And the moment it did, and the moment I started to become a kind of noticeable figure in this field, that's when the attacks began. And I'm a human being, you know. If I am constantly attacked and my integrity is questioned, and smears are put on my name, I'm going to fight back. Inevitably, I'm going to fight back. I feel that it's self-defense, but I guess that's what archaeologists feel as well. They feel they're defending themselves. Maybe we should all just take a breath, stand back, and say, look, the past is a giant mystery. Archaeology has made enormous steps in unraveling the past. I know that I couldn't do anything I do without the work that archaeologists have done, and I recognize that, and I always do say that. But let's set aside this history of antagonism. Let's have some level of mutual respect. Let's not think that anybody who offers an alternative point of view is insincere. That's what archaeologists constantly imply, that we're doing it for some sort of ulterior motive. No, we're not doing it for an ulterior motive. I'm doing it because it's my passion. Mike, you're doing it because it's your passion. Kay, you've got drawn into this subject because it's your passion. We're here because we feel that we have something worthwhile saying, and we will not be shut up by an establishment that seeks to shut us down.
You know, one of the things that Mike and I talk about a lot both on the stream and sort of, you know, in our private lives, is how difficult it is to see, or historically, how difficult it's been to see a revolution when you're in the thick of it. And I think we're going through so many individual cultural revolutions in so many different disciplines across the sort of social sphere, sort of writing our history in real time. And I think one of the most exciting things that I've kind of picked up on, or the trends that speak to exactly what you're talking about, you know, yes, there's an obvious cultural trend with mainstream big archaeology types don't want to see non-establishment people become successful, because I think, you know, we could go into the myriad reasons why, you know, whether it's like to do with funding, to do with fame, ego, celebrity, like all of these different things.
A lot of it has to do with plain and simple jealousy and envy.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's just
the feeling that, you know, why are these imposters being given a stage when we archaeologists, hardly anybody listens to us? Well, actually, that's not true. Everybody listens to archaeologists. Archaeology is fundamental to the teaching of history and prehistory in schools and in the education system. In a sense, we take in the narrative of archaeology with our mother's milk, and it becomes fundamental to our understanding of the past. So I think those of us on the alternative side, what we're doing is just offering another point of view, a little bit of balance, so that people can make up their minds from a broader spectrum of information rather than from a very narrow spectrum of information.
Yeah. And there's so many, well, I think the coolest thing about this revolution and having these arguments right now as the number of young people, and I'm not going to call anyone out because they're all in school right now, but they're all studying to become archaeologists because they see the problems that you know, have so eloquently noted, because they're so obvious. Like, again, going back to like Nineveh, I'm sorry, there's like 30,000 cuneiform tablets, and like less than 5% have been translated. What are we doing? What are we doing with our time, guys? Go out the history. Like, it's already proven stories from the Bible. Let's go and do that research. And so there are so many young people now, because of people like you, Graham, because of people like you, Mike, who are getting into the quote unquote mainstream system because they know that's the only way that that sort of shared understanding and, quite frankly, like the open-mindedness is ever going to get there. Like, become part of the system that you want to break. And I think it's so cool. Like, I had one of my friend's daughters was like, oh no, she was going to do like a lit major or something like that. She dropped out right at the end of her first year and is now going back to do archaeology because of Ancient Apocalypse, because she's like, well, if no one's going to get in and break the system from the inside, then we might as well start now. And then, you know, that's what most of what will be her graduating class has kind of gotten in to do. And, you know, we don't get to see that. We don't get to see that enough. And it's beautiful.
It's very encouraging. Very encouraging to hear that, and you know, I love the idea of a thoroughly archaeologically trained individual with a completely open mind, who is willing to consider extraordinary possibilities and to take them seriously, rather than to just react in this sort of knee-jerk, insulting way that certain figures in archaeology have made their keynote. And unfortunately, I don't even think that those relatively few figures in archaeology who behave in such a hostile and obnoxious manner to anybody who offers an alternative point of view, I'm not even sure that they represent the rest of archaeology at all. The problem is that archaeology tends to circle the wagons around them, and not to call them out for their sometimes really ugly and dishonest behavior.
So what do you think from your most recent work? Are we allowed a teaser of what you explored in Africa? As you were talking about it, it sounded, I was just like, seems like a great alchemist's journey. I love that. Go into all of the oases, but what do you think is going to upset the apple cart most next? Like, what's going to be the next rock and roll moment that we're all going to be here for?
A lot, but you know, part of living in this world is strategy. While I don't mind giving some hints about where I'm going, I'm not going to
no spoilers.
spill the beans in full detail, because those beans will be picked up by hostile archaeologists without the necessary context surrounding them, and will be used against me. So by and large, I'm keeping quiet about what I'm doing and what I'm finding. But what I can tell you is I've been working on this book for a year already, and I have got more than 50,000 words of the book already written. That's a substantial chunk. This book is a reality, and it's going through production, and I'm due to deliver the final manuscript to the publisher at the end of October 2026 for publication in the spring of 2027.
That's so exciting. And okay, so one of the things then I want to kind of poke at a little bit, because I remember when I was doing my degree, we talked a lot about the Green Sahara. It's sort of one of those things that, like a lot of climate science, I guess, when you get into I was lucky. I had an amazing climate science professor who I almost don't want to call out because I don't want to get him in trouble for being so good. But he definitely pointed out the sort of, he's like, we can't go into this a lot because it's not part of the curriculum, but this is what the Sahara used to be like. Anyway, next. But I guess my ignorance, I had sort of put a Green Sahara in the same sort of pre-Younger Dryas time frame when we were looking at, a much different planet anyway. But you're saying it's, post-Younger Dryas.
Is really more or less at the end of the Younger Dryas, 11,600 years ago. That's when the Sahara enters the African humid period, the green phase, when this vast entity that we see as a desert today, and I say entity with meaning, because deserts, the ocean, mountains, nature itself, these are not just substances. These have soul, these have character, these have power, and the Sahara is a place of great power, and traveling through it, it's possible to get a sense of what it once was like and how different the world was at that time, how very different it was, how really Northern Europe was practically uninhabitable at that time. It was beginning to be, but there's the Sahara, this rich, fertile zone that we know very, very little about. Again, archaeologists will tell you, oh, well, we've surveyed the Sahara. Actually, less than 0.1% of the Sahara has been studied in any deep sense by archaeologists. They rely largely on surface surveys. And the truth is that this enormous area of the world that is so close to one of the high civilizations recognized by archaeology has not received the attention it deserves. I'm not saying the fact that the Sahara has not received the attention it deserves I'm not saying that means there was a lost civilization, but what it does mean is that archaeologists cannot dismiss the notion of a lost civilization while they've failed to take the Sahara seriously. They cannot dismiss the notion of a lost civilization while they've failed to take the submerged continental shelves seriously. 27 million square kilometers of land that were above water during the Ice Age and they're underwater now. It's hugely important. The areas that were the best land during the Ice Age are now underwater. And the same goes for the Amazon rainforest and that vast expanse of land, most of which has not been studied by archaeology. The fact that archaeology hasn't been there doesn't absolutely mean we're going to find a lost civilization there, but it does mean that archaeologists should just shut up a little bit when they're putting down alternative points of view, when actually so little of the world has been investigated by archaeology. And then archaeology is investigating that small fraction of the world with a very small range of tools. It is very limited in what it considers. So we have a small scale investigation with a very limited range of tools, and that is supposed to have a monopolistic position on our understanding of the past. And I just think that's plain wrong.
Well, it's so funny, like when you're writing your dissertation, many of which I've ghostwritten for folks out here, you have to talk about the gap in understanding. Like, you can't write your thesis without first establishing a gap in the understanding of your field of exploration, whether that's, you know, anything from archaeology to like business psychology and stuff like that. And, you know, even just like the three that you pointed out there, the lack of data is the problem. You can't make claims within a massive gap of understanding. And actually, you just prompted me. One of our regular viewers of the stream, Craig, he emailed me actually, because he would love to know, and I think all of us would really, a little bit more about the Amazon, because I didn't realize, you know, you assume, I mean, and it's like the worst thing you can do, but I sort of, I guess, wrongly assumed that a lot more of the Amazon had been explored than
it's wild. That's just still a little crazy to me.
It's an area of shadow in our collective understanding of our past. It's a hugely important area, and so little of it has been properly studied. And the studies that are being done by, for example, Alcea Ranzi and Marty Parsonen, who featured in season 2 of Ancient Apocalypse, and who have exposed these incredible geometrical geoglyphs, earthworks all across the Amazon. We're beginning to lift the edge of the veil here, and we're beginning to see that there's so much more to the Amazon story than we had previously been taught. That the Amazon is, in a sense, a natural garden that has been amplified and gardened by human beings. It's been turned into a place that is suitable for human life, and it once held populations of millions. We're just beginning to get to grips with this and what it means for our understanding of the past. So I think what's needed, both from the alternative and from the mainstream point of view, is a little more humility. Let's not make definite statements. This is how it was. Let's say this is how it looks to me, and it looks to me like this for this reason. But I accept that other people may have a different point of view. I think that's the way forward in this area. I would love to get into serious and constructive dialogue with archaeologists on all of this. And those few I have been able to have serious and constructive dialogue with, such as, for example, the late great Klaus Schmidt, the original excavator of Göbekli Tepe, an incredibly open-minded man, have been very positive. But unfortunately, there are so many in archaeologists who just will not speak to me. And if they do speak to me, their only purpose in doing so is to try to trap me into a place where they can prove that they're right and I'm wrong. I just don't do things the way archaeologists do things. I'm something different, and I think that is what is needed today, is a different alternative point of view. And that's why the work you're doing, the conference that you're putting on now, all the speakers who are coming, I wish I could be there, but I'm writing my book. That's why these events are so important, because they provide a forum outside of the mainstream where alternative ideas can be explored and weighed up.
And I think the community building, like the relationships that are formed at places like this, are so important, because it fosters the exchange of ideas that may not have gotten traction otherwise. There's been a lot of people that I've met. The first time you and I ever met in person was at CPAC. And I was able to shake hands with a lot of people.
Let's be clear, that's the conference on precession, ancient knowledge.
Not the other one. I was going to say, like, you guys were at CPAC? What? Like, I don't even go to CPAC, and I worked in that industry forever.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, that's a good one to clarify.
Walter Cruttenden runs this conference, and he puts it on every couple of years or so, and it's the conference on precession and ancient knowledge. Why? Because ancient knowledge of the phenomenon of precession is a key factor. It certainly has been for me in recognizing the possibility of a lost civilization in prehistory. You know, a lot of people have various theories about how I came to this, but fundamentally how I came to it was through the work of Giorgio de Santillana, professor of the history of science at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Hertha von Deschend, professor of the history of science at the University of Frankfurt back in the 1960s. And their incredible book, Hamlet's Mill, massively detailed scholarly work, which thoroughly documents knowledge of precession, not attributing it to the Greeks, which is what archaeologists habitually do about 2,200 years ago, but taking it back thousands and thousands of years into the past to what they call some almost unbelievable ancestor civilization that had first figured out the world in terms of number. And this phenomenon of precession is caused by a wobble on the axis of the Earth. It changes the rising times and the seasons of the year when certain stars rise. It can be, with modern computer software, we can reconstruct the ancient skies, and we can look at how the sky looked 10,000, 15,000, 20, 30,000 years ago. And the evidence from Hamlet's Mill is that people were doing this without computers for thousands and thousands of years before the Greeks simply hijacked that ancient information and wrongly got it attributed to them.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Chinese with, was it acupuncture? They claimed that for the longest time until they found one of the, I think it was an ice body. It was either a bog body or an ice body that had the same marking, significantly older.
I heard of that. Yeah.
That's wild. Well, I think that what you're saying again goes, back to sort of Mike's point, your point about the importance of community. And I think maybe that's another thing that kind of threatens those sort of very loud archaeologists who
community is very important. And I'm very glad that a real community is coalescing around alternative ideas about the past, because none of us standing alone are able to drive these ideas forward. We can only do so as part of a community. Right. And that community can involve all kinds of different skills and ideas. Everybody has something to bring to the table. Right. And we should always keep our minds open to that.
What do you think the big gaps are in, we talked about the Sahara, we talked about, was it 27 million square miles of
million square kilometers of land are underwater now that were above water 20,000 years ago.
But that, and then sort of like the Amazon, I'm sure there are plenty of other examples, but in terms of like the physical exploration of those places, what do you think some of the options are? I mean, LiDAR being like one of the most obvious. Yeah, but
in the case of the Amazon, LiDAR is the way in. LiDAR is where you identify promising areas to ground truth, and then ground truthing follows from that. And the great thing about LiDAR is it's non-destructive. It doesn't do any harm or any damage, but it can identify man-made structures in the depth of the jungle, and then it's possible to go and examine those and date them and understand them. So LiDAR works perfectly in jungle terrains. It doesn't work so well in other terrains. There are new technologies being tried out now. Using a combination of satellite imagery and tomography, which may be very, very helpful in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially places, I think I can't remember if it was me and you actually, Graham, that talked about it, or I know I've had this conversation before, so forgive me, but there are parts of particularly the Sahara that it's kind of hard to get to, more because of the sociology. And I know that's been sort of...
Well, look, I mean, the travels I've just done were in the Egyptian Sahara. And the Egyptian Sahara is a big chunk of the Sahara. Okay. But there's a lot more Sahara, which isn't the Egyptian Sahara. And in some of the... Morocco, for example, has Sahara in it. There are places that are very difficult to get to. Morocco isn't one of them, but there are other places in the Sahara that are hard to access at this time, perhaps because of political instability. What I can say in Egypt is that it is possible to travel very widely in the Sahara. It's not easy. It's not something you can just turn up, hire a car and go. First of all, driving in the Sahara requires special precautions to be taken. It requires drivers who absolutely know what they're doing. It requires two vehicles, not one, in case one vehicle gets bogged down and stuck and the other one has to be winched out. This all the time. But Egypt is involved in a process of infrastructure building at the moment, and now you can drive all the way from Cairo up to Alexandria, left turning west to Mersa Matrua, and then south to Siwa on a good road. On a good road. The desert is all around you, but you are bombing down there on a good road, and suddenly you find yourself in this extraordinary, beautiful, amazing oasis, which is the Siwa Oasis. At the moment, the road connecting Siwa to Bahariya, which would make a very nice round-trip road journey, that's closed. And that it's a good road, but it's closed by the Egyptian army because they have concerns about smuggling and weapons being smuggled in from Libya and other places. So to travel in the Sahara, you do have to get permissions in advance. The Egyptian army needs to know that you're going there and where you're going and what your planned route is. And if you don't tell them, they'll turn you back or possibly even detain you.
Yeah.
You know, it all has to be very, very carefully planned out, but it can be done. And once it's done, it can be done safely. There's no reason why it should be dangerous to anybody, any more dangerous, you know, than downtown New York. It's a perfect.
Downtown New York's a little bit rough these days, but downtown Manhattan, and LA,
nice. New York, West Africa.
I'd probably rather be in the Sahara, actually. Yeah,
it's an amazing place to be. The cleanliness of the air, just being able to. Yes, it's hot, but it's not hot in the first hours of the morning. If you start at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's not hot in the evening, but in the heat of day, it is exceptionally hot. But the air is beautiful and clear and fresh, and there's this sense of just uncontaminated nature that we see in the Sahara, and then this sense of mystery of what is hiding beneath those sands, which are actually so recent in their formation and which followed a period of great fertility in the Sahara. You can see even today, when occasional rain falls, and it does occasionally fall, that sand turns to mud. It turns to a mud that you could grow stuff in. It's really quite remarkable, and it only was driven home to me by making this journey. And
Graham, listening to you talk, just explaining something like this journey that you've just been on, it doesn't sound like you've lost any of the passion that you have for traveling or seeing these places around the world. How many more of these trips do you have in you? And listen, before you answer that, I just want to say, you know, I've had somebody ask me before, it's a family member who, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to retire? When I first started doing all this, they had all these questions about me being off the beaten path, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to retire. I want to find something that I'm passionate about that I never stop doing.
Yeah.
And clearly you found that, but
I have, I have it. I'm very fortunate to do so. You know, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 75 years old now. So is Santha. We're both 75 years old. We've both been traveling, hard travel for decades. That travel involves keeping the mind alert. It involves staying awake. It involves that sense of passion. I am never going to retire until the universe shuts me down. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I love the experiences, the learning that is part of the travel, and then I love the opportunity to unpack it and to write it. And writing for me is something that I just hugely enjoy. It's not something that I resent or I think, oh God, I've got to do a day's writing today. No, I love it. I love spending that time, and just it's amazing how quickly 16 hours can pass in my day. And I suddenly find it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And how did that happen? It happened because I'm deeply engaged with what I'm doing, and I feel that what I'm doing is worthwhile. And archaeologists may piss on it all they like and sneer at it all they like, but I believe what I'm doing is worthwhile, and I'm going to continue doing it as long as I'm physically able to do so.
Okay, well, good, because we need you to. And for every one archaeologist that might have some big feelings, big feelings, you know, there's thousands, literally thousands of people. And, you know, I saw this just in Like when we first met, I was still writing for the Daily Caller, and we used to say, like, anytime there was something that came up that was archaeology sort of driven. I mean, I was lucky. I got to write. I'm like you. I just words, love them. But I got to write with as much freedom to put in the alternate. They're mainstream, really. Actually, when you look at the clicks, views, readership.
Yeah.
I was, we used to call it Click City because people were just straight in there. I was cornered at my best friend's wedding by her father and all of his friends because they were like, listen, our wives asked us not to bother you today, but like we got to talk about it. We
all want to talk about it. When it comes right down to it, we're all, as human beings, interested in and invested in knowing about our past, our personal past, and our past as a species, our past as a collective. We cannot be cut off from our roots. We have this instinctive internal drive to get to grips with our own roots. And that's, I think, what drives the interest in history and prehistory. And it's why it's a universal interest, and you're going to find it everywhere around the world. And it is the mistake that archaeology is making, that it is trying to tell people what to think, rather than saying, "What do you think? I want to hear that."
Yeah, and answering those questions. How much would you say that having conversations with other people who have an interest in this field has informed your sense of direction?
Oh, enormously. This is one of the reasons that I value conferences like the one that's coming up right now. I value them very much. I can't tell you how many times at conferences I've been sitting, perhaps signing books at the end, or just passing through the conference hall, and somebody stopped me and talked to me and shared with me their theory, their idea. And I thought, my goodness, that's really clever. I need to think about that further. It happens to me again and again and again. It's not just a matter of me presenting to an audience. It's that audience bringing their ideas to me as well. It's an exchange. It's not a one-way street.
That's beautiful. What a blessing. And I think like a lot of people would not presume that to be the case because of the way that, archaeology has been for so long. Like, and it's not just archaeology, it's all history. And like you said, we all have this fascination with it because how are we supposed to figure out how to keep going if we don't know where we've come from?
Yeah.
Not even
in terms of culture, it's almost like the whole human race are orphaned children. We have this sense of orphanage, this sense of being cut off from our past, and there's this yearning to reconnect and to really understand, who am I? Where do I come from? What is the meaning of my life? This is fundamentally the question that every human being must ask himself or herself. What is the meaning of my life? Because we have this life and we know it's finite. Talk about the Epic of Gilgamesh. I mean, the Epic of Gilgamesh is all about the fruitless quest for immortality that Gilgamesh undertakes when his best friend Enkidu dies, and he realizes his own mortality, that he is going to die. We're all going to die. And I think the most important thing, however we said about it, is to live as meaningful a life as possible. First and foremost, to live a life that's filled with love, to give love and care to others. There can't be a better thing for any human being to do than just simply do that. But beyond that, to open ourselves to learning, to learn new things. I think, I can't prove it, but I think that's why we're here. I think that's what life's about. I think it's a learning experience. I don't think it ends with death. I think, but I can't prove that either. It's just an intuition, not only an intuition, also based on evidence of reincarnation and other issues. The work of Ian Stevenson in particular is very important in that respect, children who remember past lives. I personally don't think death is the end, and I don't fear death. I do fear pain. I do fear humiliation. I do feel the loss of agency that can come with old age, but I don't fear death. I think it's the next great adventure. And we shouldn't live in a state of fear of that. We should live in a state of how can I best live my life so that I'm ready for that when it comes.
I think that's a really important message right now too, because we've come out of quite a bit just recently out of years of worldwide fear that was pushed on everyone for quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was, it was really an experience there, watching people make decisions over and over based on fear.
It's
and
terrible
just felt like it was hard to watch. And then for decisions that I made, have people angry with me for not making decisions based on fear. At the time, it was really interesting. So now I think everybody's kind of coming out of that, clearing their heads a bit and recognizing, and I hope learning from a lot of that. But making decisions in fear is never a good position.
It's never a good way. And I think there's a broader and wider recognition every day that fear is one of the tools that those who wish to be our masters use to control us.
Right.
And therefore fear is their ally and our enemy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no, I've worked in mainstream news media. Definitely no fear mongering there. That's not the entire point of that cabal. Said no one ever. Well, no, I think going back to sort of, firstly, Mike, I thought what you just said was like so eloquent, like watching people make so many decisions out of fear. That kind of broke my brain a little bit, and kind of, this happens all the time on the stream, Graham. Like, we'll be talking about something and I'll be like, I prayed about that last night and you just broke the prayer for me. Okay, I understand it now. That helped me a lot. So what you just said really helped, but also that idea of,
we know fear is there. We know fear is there when there's subjects that we're afraid to talk about in public. The moment you have that feeling that I better not talk about this, we know fear has entered the room. And this is most unfortunate, because it shuts down dialogue and it makes it impossible to escape the circuit of fear. And that's planned and that's organized by those who wish to be our masters.
Very much so.
It breaks that cycle of learning that was it the Sumerians? Like, one of their lessons was, or one of their sort of like life mantras was like, you will learn lessons and you will stay until those lessons are learned, and you'll get endless opportunities to learn those lessons. And you can forget all of them, but you can remember them whenever you want as well.
One of the beautiful things about ancient Sumer was the fact that individuals kept libraries. It's amazing. They were keeping libraries 4,000 years ago of cuneiform tablets. They had them carefully stacked on racks. And in some cases, those libraries have survived, and you get a sense of the tastes and the enthusiasms and the interests of the individual who compiled that library. This was a culture that was constantly learning. That's what I think one of the things that gave it its vitality. Yes, Sumer was relatively short-lived on the world stage. They were the inventors of writing, as far as we know, although I think we need to keep an open mind on that also. But by about 2000 before the present era, about 4,000 years ago, certainly 3,900 years ago, there are no living speakers of Sumerian anymore. But what's happened is that other cultures have entered, particularly the Akkadian culture, speaking the language of Akkad. That language was spoken by the later Babylonians and by the Assyrians, different dialects. And what they did was they immediately began to learn Sumerian. And so for literally thousands of years after there was no living speaker of Sumerian, Sumerian was still being taught in schools in Mesopotamia. And the Sumerian script is the script that is used in Babylonian and in Assyrian as well, which, as I say, are both dialects of the Akkadian language.
That's so cool. It's kind of like what Latin is to us.
Yeah.
In many ways.
That's the
really
thing.
Cool.
I need to add, and perhaps many people are aware of this, Sumerian is a language isolate. Sumerian does not belong to any known language family. Whereas Akkadian, the language spoken by the Assyrians and the Babylonians, does belong to the Semitic language family, and thus is related to Arabic and to Hebrew. But Sumerian is an isolate. it doesn't belong to any known language family, and it's very mysterious, that this appears there in Mesopotamia really quite suddenly about 6,000 years ago. I'm not saying that there's no background to it, because there is, and I believe that background goes all the way back to Göbekli Tepe and what's happening in Anatolia right now. But this was a culture with a very long memory, and it impressed itself upon those later invaders who took over Mesopotamia, just as the ancient Egyptian culture actually colonized the minds of the Greeks. When the Ptolemies became the rulers of Egypt, the Ptolemaic dynasties were actually more Egyptian than the Egyptians. They completely absorbed everything in ancient Egyptian religion and culture. So yes, the Greeks were there in a sense as colonizers, but their minds had been completely colonized by ancient Egypt. And I think we're seeing the same thing happening in Mesopotamia.
That's so cool. I had no idea. And it just sort of, I mean, am I wrong in saying that Sumerian kind of just, it's sort of like ancient Egypt just kind of came out of nowhere?
Well, no, it definitely doesn't come out of nowhere. There is a background to it, and I will be going into that. But there's a moment when it all begins that we can trace it all back to, and that's not something I'm going to share with you guys right now.
We'll keep that. No spoilers. No spoilers. Yeah.
So I've tried to get stuff out of Graham. The last time we sat down together on the channel, I tried to get. He's a steel trap. So I don't even try anymore.
No, I'm always gonna try, because like it's the only child in me where I'm like, I'm gonna pick.
Yes,
pick.
A little bit.
I'd love to have this conversation again after the new book is published.
Amazing.
Oh
yes,
yeah, that was gonna be literally the next thing I said was like, I hope. Well, hopefully I'll see you before then. We'll both see you before then. But definitely so excited for the next book, and never ever stop writing. That was something Mike put really, really well. Just like it's one of those things, like when you find that passion and that purpose, you do it like it's a job, but you don't do it like it's gonna become your job. And then when it does, is just that's part of the reason why we're here.
When you say do it like it's a job, you're actually touching on an important point. For anybody who's going to write a book, if your ambition is to write a book, you're going to have to be professional about it. You're going to have to discipline yourself. You cannot give in to writer's block. You just have to keep on going. A lot of people ask me, how do you write a book? And the answer is put one word after another. Simple as that. And you've got to keep on doing it. But there has to be that inner drive and that inspiration that leads to it. And there has to be the research background that makes it solid. But fundamentally, it's very easy when you're working for yourself, as I've done since I was 29 years old. I've had no employer. It's very easy to say, I'll take today off. Well, no, actually, I don't take today off when I'm writing a book. I refuse to take it off. I will continue until the job is done. And in that respect, I hope that I'm very professional in what I do, which doesn't mean that I can't enjoy what I'm doing. As I said, I love what I do. So I'm lucky. that I love what I do.
You're
That's
way
really
less
important what you said
than
there.
me.
Because I think like this, Kay and I have just both finished books. My book I just finished has taken me, I think, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And it is, when I started, that's what I struggled with. I would just be like, I'm just not in the right mindset today. Yeah. And I wouldn't go sit down at the desk. And now I watched myself change. This is my first book. So I watched myself really start over these 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Commit and just be like, get to the point where I was like, no, you have to just go in there and sit down, just write. And even if it doesn't work, it makes sense. You'll come back and edit it later, but start getting thoughts down. And so because I'd never had experience doing it, it was a slower process, but I saw myself refining that process over these couple years. Yeah. But it can be very difficult as well, because especially if you're talking about yourself personally, it can be very exposing. And so, and if it's your ideas and your theories as well, it's very exposing.
You're bearing your heart.
Yeah, exactly. But it's,
I don't know. You guys are way healthier. Yeah. Way healthier than my approach. which
What's
was
your approach?
no, my approach was you've got 3 months to write this book, and I'm co-authoring with one of my dearest friends.
Right.
Like, he and I have very different, like we have completely different lives, but all of the fundamentals in our lives are exactly the same.
Right.
So it's, it was fascinating to do, but I was also in my first trimester. And so, anyone who's experienced that or been around a woman in her first trimester, it's like, wow, she's going to set fire to the house today on purpose and lock all of the doors. And I did. I wanted to do that every single day. And it was the best. I always say it was like the best, worst experience I've ever had, or worst, best experience I've ever had. And now we're about to get into the final edit this month. And get all of like everything back from the copy editor and things like that, which is just a level of professionalism above what I'm used to, because it's, when you're ghostwriting scripts or, dissertations, things like that, there is a recipe to it. Mm-hmm. And so it was setting the recipe for the book, and then Carl, my co-author, who I'm going to call out now, him just completely going off recipe. And then me coming in with my like OCD of just like, no, we had a plan. And then his plan is better. But like I had a plan in my head, and I'm not like that typically. I'm not, I'm one of those, like when I travel, if nothing goes according to plan, it's like, yeah, guys, it's traveling. Who cares? Like, just go with the flow. God's put you on this journey.
Co-authoring books is a whole other level of difficulty, because you've got two personalities involved. I've co-authored a few books. I've always found it a positive experience, but challenging.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely challenging. Well, the next one, I'm going full OCD with it, to the point where I don't even know if my publisher's going to want it, but it's getting written either way. So that's my stubbornness. Nice. But I don't have your daily discipline. There's a great show that I watched years ago. And the main character in it is a writer. One of the seasons, he's, supposed to be writing this book. The whole season, 12 episodes, he's supposed to be writing this book. And people keep calling him out on it, saying, like, why aren't you writing? You're supposed to be writing. You've got your book deal. He's like, everything is writing. And then right in the last episode, he writes the best thing he's ever written. And he just sits there for like 4 days getting it done. Yeah. And I remember watching that and being like, no, I can't. That is writing, but I can't do that anymore. I'm too far gone for that. But yeah, I think we covered just about everything. But there's still so much I want to get into today, but we've already gone over time already, Graham. So thank you so much for your time today.
I wish you good fortune with this conference. I wish I could be there with you in Scottsdale. But I am appearing. I'm doing a live stream with Randall Carlson, my old friend, and looking forward to that.
Oh, we all are.
Looking forward to having you. That's going to be great.
Excited for that.
Thank you for jumping in there. What else you got going on? You've got a bunch of stuff. So you've got the book, you're working on that, but you have these tours as well.
Yes. I'm again, for the same reason that I find conferences interesting, because it's an opportunity to sit down with people and hear their ideas. That's also why from time to time I'm willing to lead a tour. And I'm leading one to Egypt in the second half of February 2026. It's all up on my website. There'll be another Egypt tour in 2027, and we're also doing tours to Turkey and to Peru. It's tours that relate very much to the work that I'm doing now, but that give me the opportunity to spend time with the people who make my life possible, who read my books and who are willing to share ideas with me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. You guys are just such a blessing, really, for everything that you do. No, thank you. Thank you,
Graham.
Yeah, so we'll send everyone to the website and everyone to your social media. And I think everyone's probably already seen the shows on Netflix, but go back and watch them again if you already have, and if you haven't. Is there anywhere else that we can send people for you, Graham?
No, my website's the best point of contact, and all my social media links are on my website, and it's just grahamhancock.com.
And they'll be all down here in the description of the video as well. And we're going to hold you to coming back, Graham. We want to talk to you after the book, right?
You bet.
Thank you
It's
so
good
much.
to see you. Thank you for taking the time.
Good to see you. Very, very nice to talk today.
Yeah, it was
All right.
wonderful. Thank
Keep
you.
well. Bye.
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 What up? Mike, you there? I can't tell if he's frozen or not. That freaked me out then. I was just like, no, is everything broken? Right. Who else do we have? Should we bring Will
great.
in? Where are you, Will? Let's get you in too.
Will's here?
Yeah,
Will
Will's
is here.
Will's here. Will's hanging out in the chat.
Howdy. That was cool. That was cool to be backstage listening to that. That was awesome. How are you all doing?
Thank you for joining us. Let me close
Amazing, dude. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. You crushed
Will,
it.
you're going to be joining us in the conference. We get to watch. Graham's going to be tuning in too. That was a pretty good interview, man. We got some stuff out of him. Little things.
Heck yeah.
Little
We have
notes. I'm hoping to
great
share some
stuff.
more on Saturday. On Saturday. I have to I'm first in the morning on Saturday, so I'm glad that I'm going before Graham and Randall and not after, because how do you go after that? I don't want to do that.
For sure. I'm going on Sunday after I think I'm Sunday. So it's going to be a weekend of like awesome speakers. So I'm feeling the pressure a little bit on Sunday, Tomorrow
You're going to tear it up, man. You're a natural born teacher.
Yeah, you're going to kill it.
You're rocking a new beard.
I am.
So that you got that going.
I don't know if I should.
Dude, I've never seen you with a full beard going.
I don't know if you
heard. Should I keep the beard for the conference, or should we?
Well, according to the pre-show, like right before we brought in the interview with Graham, we were having a big discussion about how you should always keep the beard. So you have to keep the beard. Beards are cool. We're not talking beards like Cory Booker's new wife. We're talking like actual masculine beards. And I love it. I'm here for it.
Let me do a proper introduction. This is Will from Incredible History. Now, Will's been blowing it up, and he's been doing videos for years. Will and I have actually traveled together. We did a trip down to Peru. I put out a video on the Band of Holes. You've put out some videos since then. Will, you used to. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You're a former teacher, and now you do this full time.
Yeah. So I taught for 8 years total, history and economics out in Kansas. I taught in Hawaii for a little bit, and then about 4 of those years was completely online. So actually, when me and you were out in Peru, I was still teaching online at that point. I think you probably. I was teaching during the day, and then we'd be like at Scottsdale, on the weekends. And so I had a VPN. They didn't know I was out there. You're supposed to be in home office. I was like, I'm going to go. So I stopped doing that a year ago. I'm doing this full time now. And on Incredible History, YouTube and Facebook are the two places that I'm most active. I post a little bit on Instagram, a little bit on Twitter. But Facebook's and YouTube are where I'm putting a lot of my time at these days. That was actually really inspiring to hear Graham talk about the writer's block, or there's no such thing as a day off when you're working for yourself. I've been my goal lately is I'm trying to post 3 videos a day on Facebook at minimum, some days more. And, some days I'm like, but should I be posting that much? And it's like, there's infinite history that you're fascinated with. Like there's infinite, like literally like all of time. Right. And so find something awesome that makes you go, oh my goodness, this is amazing, and make an awesome video about it. And so I've been trying to really grind out content lately on Facebook. If you want to follow me there.
Well, you've been, I'm not huge on some of the AI, but a lot of the AI that's out there isn't being done well. You're doing something completely different. Mm-hmm. You're taking AI and you're using it to accentuate or enhance the stories that you're telling, which are are true stories from our history in a way that can be visualized by a viewer, about what has been described in writings and true actual events, which is really cool. I find myself watching your videos and really
It's
being
so
engaged in a
addictive.
major way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
like seriously addictive, Will. Like I don't think, just to kind of piggyback off what Mike was saying, I think it, like when we talked about it when you came on the stream, like you were what, like our second or first interview, something crazy. You were the first interview. Oh my God.
Right.
That's
It's awesome.
wild. Heck yeah. I'm gonna dine out on that now. Like I'm gonna brag about that for a long time. But
Me too.
when when you came on, I mean it really it's using AI how AI is supposed to be designed and used by creatives. And I think it's almost sort of like you've beaten Hollywood to the punch. You've beaten, like, your show should be on like National Geographic, and all that if there's a cat about to climb on my desk. Um like it's that sort of quality, and there are so many people out there when they hear AI, they think like, oh, it's gonna be slop.
Wow.
And you watch your stuff, it's so engaging. It kind of, and we talked about this on the last stream as well. It reminds me, so the first time I ever saw, I thought about this after the fact. We didn't talk about it in the last interview, but like the first time I ever saw The Chosen was a scene that, like an extended scene that they had shared on Instagram. And I was hooked. Like I couldn't turn it off. And I never like to watch stuff like that on my phone because I'm a boomer like that. But it's just that kind of like addictive. You can't look away from it. And like that's kind of what you've done with your content and taking these stories. So I'm all for a work-life balance. I'm the laziest person under the sun. I binge watched like 7 seasons of some trash reality show at some point in the last year. I don't know. I was tired. I was pregnant. I was getting fat. I was like, whatever. But I think with what you're doing, especially like if you love it in the same way that, Mike is unstoppable with his traveling, like to the point where I don't understand how he ever lets his body rest. I think like the same thing with you creating your content. Like if you love it as much as we all love it as your viewers, keep churning it out because there's no one else doing it. And you're setting the bar really high for anyone else to come in and tell these stories. And there's a lot of YouTubers out there and people on Facebook and all these other different places who think that they're sharing amazing AI content and it's difficult to watch. Whereas yours is like, you're just in, you don't want to turn the phone off. You just want to keep watching. So don't stop. What's
much
kind of stuff are you working on at the moment?
Tell them about that map.
Oh yeah, 3D maps are for sale. If you check out the link in my link tree, I got a deal with Muirway Maps. They're awesome. That's a national park map. But thank you for saying that. Some of it is AI slop, my stuff included. But that's okay because it's going to get better. And so I'm here now, I'm learning and I'm getting my feet wet and I'm learning some skills. And, I was just talking to Luke Caverns today, that I really want in my goal and within the next 2 years is to literally make a Spanish versus Aztec movie, like not one I'm narrating, like a movie. Hernan, a whole movie, because Hollywood's not going to make it. And I know that sounds crazy, and it sounds crazy to me, but I think it's going to be possible very soon. And I kind of have an idea. Right now, the biggest thing holding me back from that is the mouth movement to word. Like I noticed recently.
Yeah, and why can't they get the hands right? What's with the hands?
That's getting better, actually, too. But that is one of the
hand
funny
looks
things.
like this.
But right now there's people remaking entire Star Wars scenes, but they can do it because Darth Vader doesn't have a mouth. Some of the characters don't have a mouth, so they can have this cool narration, or not narration, but conversation going on. And you just can't do that yet. You probably could, and I know that Sora 2 kind of does that. I don't like Sora 2 yet, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. And my most popular video ever now is one of my AI videos. For a long time, it was me and my brother hiking in Arizona, going to this Devil's Chasm out there in the mountains. There's an old Native American ruin out there, and that had like 700 thousand views. And then I had my cover up at Hueyatlaco video in August get up to about 750,000 views. My Spanish versus Aztec video just blew past 800,000 the other day. And so it's kind of having a resurgence. So I'm going to keep doing it. And people, a lot of people don't like the AI or the AI visuals. They'll say like it's slop, but I don't think it's going to be slop for long.
Keep doing it.
It's not slop. And the people who are saying it's slop are just like Flint Dibble losers. Like, just ignore them.
For sure. And it's okay. It's okay. I think it's going to get better. It's totally okay not to like that right now. But I just did Herodotus in Egypt. And then I also did, I heard Graham talk about the Epic of Gilgamesh. I just did an episode on that. And that was kind of just me wanting to do those stories because they both meant a lot to me. I am going back to the Spanish conquistadors right now. I'm working on De Soto and the battle in Alabama where he met Tuscaloosa, the 7-foot Native American chief. And then after that, I'm going to focus on the conquest of New Mexico. And then we're going to switch the tables. Everybody thinks that I'm like this Spanish apologist, that I'm being too mean to the natives because I'm telling the story through the Spanish's eyes. I'm about to do a series on rebellion. After the Spanish conquered Mexico, after they conquered New Mexico, all across New Spain, there was a period of major rebellion from the native groups. And it is horrific. It is wild. It is like tragic. It's bloody. You wouldn't believe some of the stories. So just a little sneak peek here on my Puebloan revolt, which is in New Mexico, when the Puebloan people kicked the Spanish out of New Mexico for over a decade. My opening scene is going to be a friar tied to a pig, like basically getting stoned to death by the natives. It's a crazy story. And I'm already starting to mess with it. Like you have to trick the AI into doing things that it doesn't want to do because of political correctness and safety, and it doesn't want to show gruesome things, so I have to trick it sometimes. and who knows? One of these days I might get banned because some of my stuff is kind of graphic. I've had some videos get flagged on Facebook, like they're like, "Oh, you can't have an Aztec chief holding a beating heart in his hand." So like, there's all kinds of stuff that you could do with it if they allow you to do it. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep telling it. I narrate all my stories. A lot of people say, please don't ever do the AI narration. I'm giving you my word now. I'll always narrate my stories. But AI has been a great learning tool for me. And it's helped me get out of my way a little bit. All these stories I know I've known these stories for years. But it's helped me really understand the, formation of a story, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and what makes a good story. So it's been a game changer. I've really been having fun with it.
I've been enjoying it a lot.
Did Gary just join us?
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah. He's not on the video yet, but I'm sure he'll jump in shortly. There he is. What's up? Oh my God, the whole family's here. This is so nice.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. I was just watching the stream, having a good time. Listening to Will. What's up, Will?
What's up, Gary? How you doing? Can't wait to meet you,
man. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I feel so out of my element. Talk about lowering the bar. Here we are.
Come on.
Come on.
No, not really. Like, okay, so Will's going to be the next like Tarantino, especially with like some of these opening scenes. It's like sounding very like Saving Private Ryan meets, what was that series that they just did on Netflix about the Mormons in Utah? That was like so brutal, but so good. And like, I don't usually like go like that, but I
That's
watched
another
like,
topic that I
Pri-
want
is
to
that
do someday. That's an amazing
primeval?
topic. America's
like-
first original religion, like America's, and I don't want to say America's, but like, you know, the United States of America's first like organic religion that wasn't like imported over is the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. It's a wild history.
it sounds brutal. What was that show though? What was
American Primeval or something like that.
That's
Yes.
the
Oh yeah,
one.
I watched that. It was good.
Really violent and good.
Really violent. Really violent. Well, I feel like we should talk a little bit about, like, obviously Graham stuff. We looked at like a lot of the ancient history, but I feel like, I don't know, if you guys saw the debates in the chat, some guy jumped in and was trying to hate all of us for loving Graham. And I feel like the stories that he tells within his work, like, so cool that you touched upon Gilgamesh already, Will. But Gary, as a sort of like finger on the pulse of pop culture, because I depend on you because I don't know anything about pop culture because I live on a farm very far away from like everyone and I don't know anything.
So you're smart.
No, I can't read.
Neither can I.
Even better. Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
It can be. Oh,
But
my
I
God.
feel like Graham's stuff, like the stuff that he covers, has kind of pushed so much of this ancient history, the lore, the myth, the legend, the actual science behind it, has pushed it so much into the mainstream. Like, maybe there is a gap in the market. It's probably going to have to be largely. Well, how does mainstream Hollywood feel about AI? I guess firstly is the main question we should argue or ask.
They
I
hate
feel
it.
like, yeah, I was gonna say I feel like they hate it, but is it the future?
The
Yes.
big studios hate it, but I'm sure the smaller studios see a big opportunity right now.
They do, Will, and secretly, not so secretly, some big time directors are kind of going off on their own because they know they won't get any help from the studios and are going to start making full on AI movies on their own. Names you will eventually recognize.
Wait,
So-
like who? Can you
So
I
spill
can't
some
we
of
could
that now?
potentially get like
I wish I
fourth,
could.
fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th Avatar.
Well, maybe. God, I really hope so. No.
Wait, was that the movie? That's the James Cameron movie, right?
Yeah, Cameron has come out and recently called out AI because that's
He
what
did.
you have to do.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between
He's already done it.
his movie and AI? Like,
Right.
AI is just a tool. That's all it is. It's an aggregate. It's a tool. It is Uber After Effects. It is Uber Photoshop. That's all it is right now. It's not actually thinking for itself. It's not, the singularity has not happened, and nor will it, because we don't even understand what consciousness is.
Yes.
But it is another tool that a lot of artists will embrace and they will flourish. And the ones who don't embrace it are there's the Scorseses in the world and the Quentin Tarantinos that don't need to, and they'll be fine. And even James Cameron. But
Right.
the studios aren't going to spend $500 million on a movie anymore when they don't need to.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Especially
30,000.
since
Like,
no
it's-
one's going to the theater to actually
Yeah.
watch these
And I've
films
thought
anymore.
about this, and I'm actually more excited to watch fan-made AI films about things that I like that have shit the bed over the last several years, like Star Wars and things like the Marvel movies and stuff. I can see a point when AI is good enough where I'm more interested in watching fan films using AI than I am anything that Hollywood studios will create.
Well, there's some things, there's some shots that simply can only be done with like something like AI.
Right.
And I guess and then or CGI, which would take millions and millions of dollars. Like Gary was saying, though, I keep getting people I hear them say, as an artist, I just really don't like how AI is displacing like what we're doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is like an artist's dream. Like, it's a tool. It's a tool that is not just, you don't just push a button and it spits out a movie. You have to really, be completely devoted to your craft while making whatever you're making with this AI stuff. So,
Gary, have you had a chance to see the stuff that Will's putting out with AI recently?
Yes.
Dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not usually a fan of the AI history stuff because of the narration. I can't stand the AI voice, but you were just talking about it. But if it's your voice and you're, like Y-Files uses it too, and I've got no freaking problem with that because they're sourcing stuff that you wouldn't see anyway, right? Do you know, like, there's never been a major movie made on Atlantis? Yeah, there's been, a couple of animated, but they haven't done a big budget Atlantis movie. And every time they've tried, it's fallen apart, and it's crazy because that's our mythology.
Yeah.
Right. And the roots of our mythology used to be prevalent in writing because back in the day when writers actually went to school and had experience and did other things than write, they would all learn Greek mythology. That was kind of like your 101 for writing.
Yeah.
And that's been lost. I mean, it's in Tolkien, it's in pretty much anything fantasy is the mythology of Atlantis, and a lot of biblical stuff is in there too. And it's because it's the foundation of our story, right? And that's where the pop culture thing and this sphere kind of come together because a lot of us are questioning narratives, right? Questioning narratives. And you were talking about it in the podcast with Graham, that, right now we're seeing so many paradigm shifts across the board in so many institutions. And it's because there is an awakening going on. And that awakening is, we've all been lied to for a long effing time. And now we, the one thing Generation X could pride themselves on, although I'm disappointed with them for so many things, was we questioned everything. Many of us stopped doing that, which is very sad, but we question absolutely everything and we don't take stuff at face value. And we're seeing that awakening, and it's because of hard times. COVID caused this questioning, it woke a lot of people up, and I think it's good. I think it's good that these institutions get completely destroyed and decentralized, and we start making independent stuff. And that's where AI is going to get rid of a major gatekeeper. And, I understand the artist's point of view on this, but if the artist trains an AI on their art, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
It's not like
talent will still rise to the top.
Yes, it's not like independent artists aren't being taken advantage of and cannibalized by these industries anyway. So, if you don't have a name, and you still are going to have to put in the work to get to a point to be one of the select few in something like Hollywood where your art is even considered. At least in doing it this way, you are in control of your own destiny, of what you create, and you have a bit of control and agency over how it gets put out and who it gets put out to. And you can actually have creative control over how your content, the final form of your content, which is great. It empowers creatives, I think, or it will. And I think it's just going to be about I think it sounds like everybody agrees that they don't like listening to the AI voices. So when you're doing something very creative like Will is doing, where you're using AI as a supplement to elevate what you're already creating, people enjoy it. I enjoy watching the videos that you're making, Will. And I see the potential there for growth with using AI in spaces like this and others, and pop culture and different stuff like that being huge. And I'll watch it. I already watched animated stuff. I just don't like what they're doing anymore with the messaging in the content. Could you just stop preaching to me through your art form and just tell a story?
Yeah. I feel like Rick and Morty is one of the only animated shows that has stuck to, let's just do a little bit of brain rot here, guys. But I want to go back to what you just said, Gary, about the Atlantis thing, because the hideous capitalist within me is like, we've got all the talent in the room right now to create that movie. Because I can sit and write it, because AJ bought me all these books on how to write fiction. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not very good at it, but I'll read those books again and try and figure it out at some point. So I can write the script. We've got Will here who can you know, who's got the talent with the AI. You guys, like, I think between the two of you, we've got Mike, who knows enough of the lore and the story and can get me in touch with other people who also know a lot about that stuff and talk about it. And then Gary, you can come in, critique the living shit out of it, make it better every single time. We release it on YouTube, and Hollywood can eat a bag of dicks, and I'm here for it. Like, I think that's what we need to do next. I don't know, chat. What do we think?
Well, the first video I ever had that did well on YouTube was 3 years ago called Refugees from Atlantis. Edgar Casey's. It was about Edgar Casey. If you don't know, do you know who Edgar Casey is? I went down to Piedras Negras, Guatemala, which is the most remote Maya ruin, looking for the Yucatan Hall of Records, and went down this whole rabbit hole and made a fun video about it. And I told his version of it. I read his readings, and it's not going to be what you just described, Kay, because I'm still just a small fish in this. I use ChatGPT and Midjourney and a little bit of Sora, and just, it's nothing complex. But I am making Refugees from Atlantis 2.0 in the next 2 months. It's on my queue. And I'm basically going to remake that video. And it's the B footage is going to be quite a bit more AI generated. So.
I'm here for it. I mean, my husband just made technically 3 different software companies. One of them was a media outlet for me to run just for fun. But he made 2 companies for the recruiting industry exclusively using AI. Didn't use any, he has no background in coding, any of that kind of stuff. It's funny what you guys said, though. He had me do all the voiceover for his promotional materials because the AI voice sucked. So we have a Claude subscription if we need that. Well, that works. We can do Claude as well.
This will be very low key though. What you're talking about is a production level studio, a movie. That would be awesome. I want to watch that.
Why not?
That'd be cool.
Well, we'll make it. Don't worry. I'll talk you into it. I'm a very annoying person, and I will wear all of you down. And if that is the next gap in the market, I mean, sort of all jokes aside, I don't think any of us have the time to actually get anything like this done. But I think I think it would piss James Cameron particularly off to no end to do especially an epic flood story. And I think, I don't know, again, Gary, I'd love to, because obviously we know that there's a passion and an interest in such a huge audience for these stories, and the myth and the lore around it is just so addictive because, like Graham said, it's our story, it's our history, it's such a huge part of what we are. And someone in the chat just brought up Randall Carlson making a great Plato. He would be a great Plato, but when Randall comes in and talks about the science behind the flood, he pulls up the graphs and they're fascinating and brilliant. And a nerd like me who studied this stuff, I love the graphs, but to see that visualized, I think that really is one of the
think the most important thing that we could do with that is just go ahead and go through casting right now. So if Randall's Plato.
Okay, Randall's Plato.
What is Graham?
Well, we'd have to, so it'd have to be either a prestige series or a trilogy, and it would be the Atlantis Lemurian War, and then it wouldn't end with the flood. I'd say you do an entire movie or another series post flood of the 7 sages going out there, and trying to restart humanity and what they have to deal with.
Gary's going to write the movie. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to produce.
But I go full fantasy. I'd go giants and gods and or the alien gods and everything. It'd be
and you'd have to make the connection between Orion and all of the planets and all of that. Yeah.
Well, I'd go full Velikovsky. I'd mix in some of the, Venus was a comet, and maybe we came from Mars and the whole planet blowing up that became the asteroid field. We could mix it all in. It would be awesome.
This is amazing.
Yeah. It ends at Göbekli Tepe with them building that as we have to remind people, we have to let them know, and that's where it all ends.
Yeah.
And then the Anunnaki returns and enslaves the Sumerians and makes them gather gold. And
yes.
I just love it. Can I be an extra? Craig, you can be whatever you want.
Yeah, you can be an extra. You're in. You're in. No, like I've talked about that a lot with Randall, and they are starting to do it, but with all of Randall's stuff, it needs visuals. I need to see that 1,000-foot wall of water going down the middle of Montana, right?
Yeah.
I think what he says is terrifying, but if we actually see it, and they in Ancient Apocalypse they did a lot of visuals, but like Randall really needs to find somebody, Michael, to help him with some of these visuals that would be utterly terrifying, like airburst. Like what happens to you during an airburst?
Oh Lord, that's terrifying.
Dude, Graham described it in America before. So when they found that one mammoth in Arizona, and they saw a layer of the basically that black layer of soot over it. So it was killed before an event, like an airburst. So he gets into some hypotheticals with the archaeologist, and they're like, well, what would it be like? Well, they had just cut off a leg of this, the Clovis people or whoever's there just cut off a leg of this mammoth, and they walked away for some reason. Airburst happens, and then simultaneously, because when the meteor comes in, it pushes a pocket of the atmosphere, so you're at absolute zero. So you burn to death and freeze to death at the same time. I read that like over and over again. I'm like, oh my God, like this is
Dr. Dre's in.
I might pee a little bit, but like this is like, I want it's utterly terrifying, like what can happen to you. In Day After Tomorrow, it's really quick, but the fact that like a meteor could come in and punch the atmosphere, it hits the atmosphere to where space, absolute zero hits the ground.
Oh yeah, Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow they did that, yes. Which is Art Bell, which is Day After Tomorrow is based on a Whitley Strieber Art Bell book, The Coming Global Superstorm. And there was an entire series based off of Art Bell shows. It's called The X-Files. So like the one thing like you guys provide with all this, Randall, you, Michael, everybody, is plots for movies. Like there's so many story ideas that could be made that people would watch the hell out of it. It doesn't who cares if it's true or not? Like they're good stories. But
that's not allowed, Gary. Good stories aren't allowed.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah, you can't do any product placement in a story like that.
Yeah, you can't. How are you supposed to get ads on it? But like, I think the survivalist people would do it. I'm like, my mind is going back to, so the first series I ever saw, I think was largely actually, I don't know if this is the correct word, like animatronics and like CGI, was Walking with Dinosaurs. And that came out when I was definitely under the age of 10, I want to say. And I remember they tried to do a visualization of what happened when the meteor hit, when it hit. I'm going to mispronounce it. Is it Chicxulub?
Chicxulub.
Yeah, Chicxulub. Lube. I don't know. Yes, that word that I'm going to butcher.
I probably butchered it too.
And it was so like all the dinosaurs like, oh no, I'm suffocating. Oh no. Like, and it, they extended it out and they really didn't make it that scary. And then I was writing about it recently for my publisher, and I really got into it using ChatGPT. I was like, no, we're gonna really hone in on this thing, because you have to train the AI to get the best out of it. And it's sort of like, because that one actually made, made landfall then, as opposed to just the air bursts. And it vaporized so much ocean water and fresh water that it turned it, like it acidified it. So we had acid rain, but at the same time, all the ejecta went up, all these dust particles, that when they started coming back down, everything they touched caught fire. So like half the planet was just on fire, if not more of it, for like an extended period of time. And you wonder, like, yeah, of course that thing turned the dinosaurs into chickens. Like, we would be lucky to come out of it as ants. Like, are you kidding me? And I still think, like, even with the dinosaurs, like, that's still a fascinating cataclysm movie. And people still love this stuff. Like, am I wrong?
Yeah.
I feel like everyone still loves the Cataclysm story. Like, you don't have to work in, like Mike said, well, no one wants the political shit anyway. Like, that's been proven with the with the reviews online, shall we say. I recently found out that I'm actually an accredited Rotten Tomatoes reviewer, which I didn't know.
Whoa, cool.
I think it's because my old
can
job.
write the ship.
Maybe I will. I actually have my thing up here. One of my reviews that I wrote about Sam Elliott calling a Western movie too gay and frankly not even a Western. But yeah, because people
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, Brokeback Mountain.
Oh god, I don't even think it was Brokeback Mountain. I think it was that other one that was way too gay with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah. Yes, he did, and it was gay.
Yeah.
I love.
Can't remember the name.
He's done a couple gay movies. Is he the one that did with the code?
Yeah.
He was gay in that movie too, right? That's based on a true story.
Yes,
I just love how he
one?
says penguin. Have y'all seen that clip of him on the Graham Norton show or whatever, where he did a documentary on wildlife and he was talking about penguins and he kept saying penguin. Every time he said penguin, he pronounced it differently, and they did a mashup clip of it, and it was hilarious.
Part of me wants to hope that he did that on purpose just to be fun and cute.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think so. He was laughing about it. But what we're doing here in the ancient space, it's growing so much that eventually Hollywood's going to cannibalize these topics. And once they catch on to the fact that there's a massive audience worldwide interested in every day there's a new face breaking into YouTube and content creation, and it's great.
There's a bunch of people into it in Hollywood, tons, and what's great is this is one of the few things that crosses political boundaries. It was weird, you go to Graham's thing in Sedona, Arizona, and we had a great mix of based people and crystal hippies. All
combo.
I love that.
There's a lot of crossover in those demographics.
Is that my cue? Is that where I join?
That's your cue.
That's your cue,
Okay.
Sammi.
We talked about that.
Sammi joins the stream, everyone.
Speaking of
I have
crystal
a face.
hippies.
He is here.
I got the applause. Wait.
All right, that's a better applause. I'm gonna have to download some of these better audio here.
I'm gonna get rid of the name tag since our faces are so small.
I feel like
allowed?
Who's gonna
Seems
play
all right.
Graham in the movie of his life, though?
Now no one knows who we are, Sammi.
I think they do.
Who would play Graham Hancock?
I think they'll figure it out.
You're like a young Graham Hancock.
You know what? It is really amazing to me how based a lot of the communities are in their overlap between, kind of pop culture, sci-fi, fantasy type stuff, and ancient history, and these different genres. It's pretty based. I definitely don't feel alone in any space that I go into. Whereas, I live in Austin, which is a very liberal city, and yeah.
Well, a lot of the crystal hippie stuff has all the cosmic lore mythologies. There's that realm, and I feel like that's where it overlaps with this ancient history stuff.
I think it crosses over with libertarians are. I like the idea of libertarianism, but libertarians are kind of retarded sometimes. But it really does cross over into ufology and the crystal hippies, because it is very independent thinking. And a lot of them were Art was a libertarian, Art Bell. So
the willingness to explore ideas, even if you don't 100% agree with them. There's plenty of people in the space of ancient history doing adjacent work to what I do and stuff like that, who really doing stuff that I don't agree with, but I think the pursuit of all the ideas is important. So, if I'm not a UFO guy, I'm not trying to shut down UFO stuff. I think it's important to be exploring those things. That's just not my area of interest, right? Specifically, maybe.
Well, that's why we force it upon you on the show.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, I think when you were on and we were talking about the Kansas City UFO,
Yeah.
like the amount of
It's my
crossover.
next YouTube video, by the way.
Yes.
Good.
Actually,
Yeah,
pitched
you're
it to
friends
White
with me and
House. I was
Kay.
like, y'all
Couldn't
seen
deal with
this?
the UFOs.
So the only reason I'm doing it, because I'm like with Mike, I'm doing this Conquistador series, right? But I'm taking a small break because of the conference, and I made the Ronnie Johnson 2.0. I actually went and knocked on his door and interviewed him 3 years ago, and I've just had this video there for a long time, and it's an amazing story. He got injured by it. You know, when the government said that no one's ever been injured by whatever these things are, that's crap. Ronnie Johnson had welder burns from this. He described it as welder burns. It obviously wasn't welder. And his mother lost feeling in her hands and her leg for the rest of her life after touching this radioactive dirt that this thing left behind. And it's a crazy story. That's coming out on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. It's just in time for you to speak when you're speaking at the conference as well.
You're releasing it during the conference?
Well, I just have a Sunday posting schedule, and I just have it ready to go. Maybe I'll release it before. So we'll see.
But you're right. Like, I mean, Sammy, and like it goes into, again, what you were saying, like the amount of crossover between all those different demographics. Like everything always ends up back in space, whether it's asteroids, whether it's UFOs. Maybe that's because, like you said earlier, Gary, like, you know, maybe we do come from Mars. Like maybe we did originate on a different planet and end up here, or maybe it was some kind of godlike alien thing. I mean, I'm a Christian.
Maybe the Mormons are right.
Maybe the Mormons are right.
What if we
maybe the Scientologists are right?
No, Mike, they're not. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't hate us, Scientology. Grant Cardone is great. I totally don't do a show with him.
All the Scientologists need to buy Kay's book.
They do need to buy my book when it comes out. Please, everyone does.
Speaking of books, you can buy Gary's book right now, right?
Wait,
can you buy it right now, or is it still in pre-order?
It's the pre-orders are being shipped, and then it'll be available hopefully like about a week before Christmas on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble.
Heck yeah! Oh,
that's awesome.
So I just got notification, and I got an email today saying that mine had been shipped.
Awesome.
Yes.
Congrats, man. No, we've been talking about that since we were in Peru together. You got it.
Not
ready.
mine, Gary's. Sorry, Gary's book just shipped to me. Yeah.
Got you. Congrats, Gary.
Thanks.
That's huge. That's absolutely
huge.
massive.
2 years been working on it.
And let me ask you.
It will not be a sequel.
You could write another when you're 80 or, like in 5 years.
Oh, that's a solid burn right there. Jeez.
It was a layup. I couldn't help it.
It was. Yeah, you just got to take it. And I got to take it too. It's like, haha, funny.
Did you resonate with what Graham was saying about writing on the live stream about being that kind of labor of love, or did you have your own?
No, I had help because I can't spell. Like I had lots of help, but the process of editing, going over it, and working with somebody was extensive. It's my own life though, so it's kind of like, well, if you hate the story, and you didn't like my life, and that's fine.
Are you the one that typed out that misspelled nerd? What is it?
Nerdrotic? No.
Nerdrotic.
No, that was the certificates of authenticity went out, and they weren't very authentic because they were spelled.
They're just collector editions now.
Yeah. So we're gonna send new ones out, but no, there are plenty of we caught typos in it, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more. That's just sorry.
I hope I get a Nerdrotic.
I think you get the. Oh, you will. You will. If anybody who's getting it will be getting one, then you get a new one sent.
Perfect.
I think that's going to add to the collector's value over time, though. I think I've watched enough of. I always get in trouble for pronouncing this. I have to call it prawn stars because my husband says that when I call it porn stars, it doesn't sound like the shop.
No.
Yeah.
You make it sound posh with your accent anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm from a trash
well,
town. But like porn stuff, when stuff's misspelled, there's typos. If I know anything about Pokemon cards, if there's an issue with it, it's gonna bump up the value.
Same with comic books.
That's what he was doing. It's not that he's illiterate. It's that Gary was trying to bump up
the marketing,
the long-term collection.
The marketing plan.
Yeah.
We have another author. Will's released a book already.
Yeah.
I have that on my shelf, and I've read it, and I love it. And are you working on the second one?
Right now, I am paused on that one. So originally, it was going to be Enigmatic South America, and now I'm like, no, I think I just need to do Enigmatic Americas and take my favorite chapters from that first book, and then my explorations down in South America. That's gonna. I don't have a date on when that's going to be, because I'm having so much fun making videos right now. Like that's been like my authorship. And so, that first book I wrote.
They're asking in the chat, what's the name of the book that's out right now?
Enigmatic North America, Legends, Oddities, and Controversial History. And I basically go and explore both sides of the story on a lot of controversial things throughout the North American continent. The number one, my favorite chapter in there is Hueyatlaco, which is the archaeological enigma that shows that humans might have been here 250,000 years ago. Big cover up down in Mexico. Made a lot of content on it. But then I also went to like the Walsrud Museum in Mexico, which has 50,000 pieces of like these ceramics that look like dinosaurs that were found supposedly in an archaeological dig. 50,000 pieces of them. And they all look like dinosaurs. And some of them look like, it's really strange. I think it's likely a hoax. But the amount of firewood that would have been needed to fire those ceramics is like a lot. And so whoever did it, it's like it was a big effort. And so there's a lot of fun things in that book where I'm telling both sides of the story there, kind of fence sitting on some of it with like Hueyatlaco. I'm like, hey, there's something seriously wrong with this case. And it was my first book I ever wrote. Lots of spelling errors. It was like right when Midjourney came out too. So I was like, oh, cool. I can use some AI visuals to recreate some of this. And now I look back at the book, I'm like, oh God, some of these are just like total slop. So it's fun. I'm proud of it. But I'm hoping to make something better in the future. That was definitely, I literally wrote that in the back of my car out in New Mexico one summer. Well, I wrote it over the course of like a year, but I was camping and petroglyph hunting. I was a teacher, so I had my summers off. And
that's when we first connected.
Yeah, when I interviewed you, that was in my car.
I remember.
Yeah, and so that's that book is kind of
and
a
then
mess.
I sent you way off course and almost killed you.
Yeah, you did. So that's a funny
story. You do that to yourselves all the time, though.
Mike had the wrong coordinates for the Tizer Dolmen on one of his videos, and I almost died of heat stroke. And I was like on top of this mountain. I was like, there's no way it's up here. And I'm like, man, I've traveled like 5 miles. Like, I think I'm feeling weird. I felt like really strange. And you called me and I was like, Mike, so good to hear from you. I am not feeling well right now. Can you just talk to me on the phone for a little bit? And everything was all good. I got off the mountain. I didn't die. And turns out the Tizer Dolmen's a lot easier to get to than what I was looking for.
Way to go, Mike.
My bad.
All good.
So what did you tell him on the mountain? You're like, water's really good. It's really refreshing.
It really helps.
He was like, dude,
I like just dump the glass out right now. How you feeling?
Oh, dude.
I felt, man, it was miserable, but
I felt pretty bad.
It's all good. It was all good. We got the job done.
I can't remember what I think I was in Costa Rica. So I was calling you back or something. But yeah, almost killed Will. But he
did you guys almost die or do anything like that because of Mike in Egypt? Wait, actually, no, I have a question before that. Gary, did you get home okay? Because Sammy and Mike didn't almost get home. From Egypt.
I had the adventure getting back to the States, yeah.
I'm like scared to travel with you at some point in this future, Mike. I'm getting more scared by the day.
Well, Mike's like, I might stay for a couple days. I might stay for a day. It's like I'm really enjoying this trip. I love it, and I am locked in on getting the fuck out of here so as fast as possible. And we did that. We were fine.
Okay,
we were fine. Our
good.
plane almost got delayed because of storms, but we caught the last one.
Nice.
And it was all good.
Are you guys adjusted? Mel said she's I see her we've chatted occasionally over the last couple of days because she's up at 4 a.m. and I'm up at 4 a.m. on Instagram. And so are you guys still we're still
struggling a little bit.
Yeah,
but it'll be fine. We'll just travel again. That'll fix everything, right?
There you go. Right.
Yeah, 18-hour car drive will work it all out. Yeah.
Yeah, and go the
you
other
driving?
way. So the hours keep going, changing that.
Why?
I love the drive through the Southwest.
The best drive.
It is my favorite drive in the world. So
I guess
no
once you get
doing it
in Arizona,
I've done it like 20 times. I grew up in Southwest Kansas, so right.
I've done that.
New Mexico.
I've already done that drive like 6 times this year. So ain't no thing.
That's the Texas part of that's
long,
not great though.
Yeah, half the trip is just getting out of Texas.
But
yeah,
you get to drive like 90 miles an hour. So the speed limit here is insane, and you can go fast, and I like that.
It was in Utah, New Mexico. They have like an experimental part of the highway that's 80 miles per hour or something like that.
Yeah, all of West Texas is 80.
West Texas, okay, yeah.
Everyone needs the Autobahn. It's the only thing that like everyone shits on Britain for having bad food. Guys, go eat in Germany. Okay, that's bad food. But at least in Germany, you can get really drunk and drive so fast. No,
what about brats and pretzels and beer cheese?
Pretty good.
Bangers and mash are better. So beans on toast.
You ever have Fleischkiekler?
No, what is it?
You've never had Fleischkiekler?
What is it though?
So it's basically fried meat. So it's
cool, right?
Yeah, it's just ground beef in bread. It's deep fried and it's freaking so good. My German Grammy made it for me all the time.
Fellow German? Hey, Jerry, fellow German here.
I do share the same birthday as my great grandfather, who is Leonard, which is German.
Oh, no, don't encourage Kay with this, okay?
Beans on toast. But no, going back to like the Autobahn thing though, that was like the weirdest thing for me when I got my driver's license out here, was that I was like, you guys just don't go like 50 to get wherever you need to go. Like, isn't 50 like the cruising limit that everyone should go at? And everyone's like, no, you have to go 35 within like cities and stuff. And I'm like,
you would love Eugene, dude. People go like 20 miles an hour in town.
I'm chill. I don't
crazy. Stoned.
It's they're old or stoned or old and stoned.
Yeah.
And
I've never had a speeding ticket.
Really?
I get up there, I put one hand on the wheel, I put a little Swedish snus in my lip and listen to an audiobook, and I might be 5 miles per hour under the speed limit, just chilling, enjoying the ride.
Guys.
Oh, I got pulled over recently from driving too slow.
Sammy, what? How slow were you going? Were you in the van or in the car?
I was in the van, and I was coming back from the coast, and it was dark, and it was raining. I mean, he really, I was like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go the speed. He really pulled me over because he thought I was drunk, and he was pulling people over because there was a wine and cheese event. But yeah, anywho, to circle back to the Egypt thing.
Is that true, Gary?
If I could have driven there, I absolutely would have driven there.
What is it about flying that you
driven
crashing?
Yeah, I don't like
that'll do it.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
And every time before a flight, I'm doom scrolling on Twitter, and sure as shit, there's freaking plane crashes. The UPS plane crash happened right before we took off. I'm like, God.
Flying over the ocean's pretty scary.
Sometimes I'll do it on purpose, like the night before a flight. I'm like, let's see if this airport's ever had anything gnarly happen at it. You know, it's
Lord, I'll never do that.
You sicko. I like plane crashes for like songs no one died when like I was writing for Daily Caller because again it was like Click City. You guys want to watch a plane do some fucked up crazy shit? But as long as everyone's okay. Which
Which is
happens way
rarely
more
the case.
often than people realize.
But if you're like me and you follow Ashton Forbes on Twitter and you see that plane just disappear all the time, there's that too. So
Dude,
And
that's
it's
scary.
way more
I'm more
interesting to
scared about it falling
research
out of the air. or
crashing
just-
planes in other parts of the country too. This is, when you start realizing airline maintenance in places like South America and parts of South America, you're like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah, I had a phobia for a minute. I literally drove my car from Kansas to Oaxaca, Mexico, and back because like I was going through a weird time in my life where I was afraid to fly. I'm good now, like I fly now, but it's
driving in
Boeing-
Mexico is just that's a dangerous thing
That is
too.
Yeah,
dangerous.
didn't you
Yeah,
almost
but I'm
die on
okay.
that trip,
Yeah, you
Will?
are.
Yeah.
What's that?
Didn't you almost die on that trip just from driving?
Well, I got pulled over a lot because in Kansas we don't have front license plates. Like I think we're one of the only states that doesn't do that. I can't remember
We don't
why,
have
but
them.
so I just got pulled over like 12 times, and they were trying to extort me. Yeah, if you're gonna drive to Mexico, maybe have a front license plate.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
weird.
Lots of money to
Drive
pay
during the
for
day.
cuts off.
Yes,
Mexico's the
Yeah.
only place I've ever been robbed in all of my travels, and it was all 3 times, and
Not
all
true,
3
Mike.
times it was the police.
we got robbed in Peru.
Oh, yeah, we did.
By
That's
the
true.
by
We
the
got robbed in
police.
Peru by the police, but
By the-
all the
well-
times that I've ever been robbed is by the police. Yeah,
Yep, same
That's
here.
state sponsored
kinda their
robbery,
job.
though. I mean, that kind of happens to us every
Yeah.
year at April 15th
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, I got shook down by the cops in Tijuana a lot.
I got shook down in Playa del Carmen by the cops. Got set up. Those cigar dealers don't buy the marijuana from them. They call,
Oh, that's
they
so
call
good.
the cops immediately, and then the cops say, "Oh, we got a report of gringo urinating."
Mota,
I'm like, "What?"
mota. Yeah.
That was 9 years ago. 9 years
Did
ago.
you guys get harassed by any hash dealers in Egypt? That's one of my favorite things in Morocco is when they come up to you and they're just like hashish.
No.
Hashish.
no, but I did
No.
I
put
feel
a
like
down
I heard
payment on a
something.
house,
Mo-
going paying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
You have to pay to go to the bathroom everywhere in
you
Egypt.
do.
You guys are dudes. You
I
can stand
didn't.
up and pee wherever you want. You pay in to go
Yeah.
piss.
But then I end up paying the police.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get twat taxed any way you take a piss.
Okay,
I
you-
just stopped eating and drinking. That kind of solved
Yeah, you can do that.
most of the problems.
Until you went
Or-
to McDonald's.
Or you
Yeah.
can take an overnight
That was your first
train.
meal in 6 days.
God, it was so good.
McDonald's
Overnight.
is so clutch when you're abroad in those like third and second world countries, and you're just like, man, I've gotten food poisoning too many times. I'm gonna go get a Big Mac.
I was really excited to go there. I was like, for one, I want to eat because I'm hungry, and I knew it would be good. I knew it'd be fine.
Yeah.
First McDonald's I've had in a decade.
Quality control. Hey, you can say what you want about McDonald's. The quality control, it's on point.
Not in Hong
Worldwide.
Kong. Bunch of my friends bought McDonald's when we were in Hong Kong and they could not eat it. It was like basically chicks inside of the chicken nuggets. It was
Oh,
like
Oh my
Oh.
god.
not good.
Why
Yeah.
does that
Ooh.
make sense though? I don't for Hong Kong. I don't
It
Stick with the-
strangely makes
China
sense.
had just
it
taken over
strangely
again.
makes sense. Well,
So,
Mike's
no.
burger was
It was horrible.
slimy.
Yeah, because you
What
got
was the word
lettuce
that
on
you
it.
I
used?
did. It was a
Yeah.
slop burger, and I couldn't eat it. I tried to take a bite, and I just bit into it, and then I instantly removed from my
Yeah, it did
mouth.
not look good.
No, and then everything just slid out of it. And Adam was kind enough to give me one of his chicken burgers, so I
And it was good, wasn't it?
it was good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was good.
yeah. I just got the cheeseburgers. It was fine. The
didn't get
fries
sick.
This is our Egypt recap.
Yeah,
Just
this is
talking
the
about
most
the
American
McDonald's.
shit I've ever heard in my
So-
life. Yeah, we went to
Yeah, this is
McDonald's.
crazy.
Oh, it was sick.
Do we talk there? I mean, the walk to McDonald's was very authentic because
Yeah,
we
that was cool.
experienced some very interesting things. We witnessed. Was that when we witnessed the car that ran into the
car accident? Yeah.
The car horse accident.
I'll never forget the foot. That will haunt
the
my
foot.
dreams
The foot
forever.
was
No,
Like,
so
like
I saw
he patched
two.
a foot, like a foot laying there. Or
no,
was
it
a-
was
no.
attached,
it was attached
to a human.
Attached
but
to
I've
somebody, but there's like some
Oh.
leprosy going on there.
It was
It
bad.
was
Ooh.
nasty.
But then someone was like, "Was it real?" Because apparently, maybe allegedly, that's a scam that people do.
I
where
thought that's
they,
what I
they
was
put
saying. I
was
thought
that you a
yeah,
fake
I thought
But
foot
that is
to
some
make it look-
Hollywood level makeup there.
Yeah.
Whatever they did,
Yeah.
they need a job.
I think it's real.
yeah, it was pretty.
But how did she
Yeah, it was
walk
pretty-
to that sidewalk? Actually,
She hopped.
where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to go back. I feel like it was like your first trip. You go see the basics. You
Yeah.
kind of I definitely need to go back and for longer to explore like the little nooks and crannies that I want to look at. I'm glad I saw Giza and everything, but now I want to see like I want to see keystone cuts. I want to see boreholes. I want to see erosion. I want to go down to Aswan. I want to go to we did the Serapeum, but I want to go see the Osirion. Like bad. That's like the one I want to see. There's-
Osirion, Dendara.
Yep.
You need
was
to do
Dendara the one that I
Aswan
sent
Quarry,
you?
Abu Simbel's good. What's that?
Was Dendara was the one that I sent you? That I was like that after the trip, I
Dendara's
was
got
like, we
the
need
big-
to go here.
Got all the weird
Was it Dendara?
engravings, and then it has those melted stairs.
Ooh.
And then Aswan Quarry is just a must. Abu Simbel's cool. That's way south.
Yeah,
There's
further.
a-
Oh shit! Oh god, I can't remember. I got invited there. There's somebody's filming a movie there. It's like a B movie, right? But it's
Yeah.
it's an ancient Egyptian history movie. I wish I could remember it. Guy left me a voicemail.
Mummy
like-
4?
Not Mummy 4. No,
That'd be cool.
no. It's bankrolled by I think like Saudi Arabia or something like that. So the guy
Okay.
called me. He's like, "Bro, I'll fly you down here," and I'm like, if I didn't want to go home so goddamn bad, I'd do this, but I couldn't. But it was further south, and I probably could have seen some of that stuff.
It gets more sketch the further south you go.
I bet.
So if you make it down to Abu Simbel, it's
No, I'm glad we went in a group, right? Especially for the ladies.
yes, yeah.
It's really it's an authentic country. We had an authentic train ride on the Ghetto Hogwarts Express. That was fun. Everybody's gonna remember
It
that,
was
Michael.
fun.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna remember that. It was and everybody got to feel like what it was like to be in my prison cell, but a little smaller.
And a
I
little
was
like
worried. Yeah, I was worried people would really might not like that experience. But I was very happy when we all got our rooms and situated, and then everybody was just either hanging out in the smoke room or in the hallways and
Or drinking.
everybody's doors were open, and they were just hanging out, talking, chatting. Or in Adam's case, going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. It was
he
good.
just
It was a
didn't
good
leave.
experience.
From what I heard, he just stayed in there.
Aw.
Or
I s-
Adam.
Poor Adam.
I went through the same thing, but I didn't have to. I did it in a hotel room, so I was fine.
Much better.
Yeah, that's at least the hotel room bathroom wasn't just constantly moving. while you're-
No. Oh, the doorways between the cars were opening. They just like where they
Yeah.
hit a bump and they just open. It was I thought it was awesome.
Sounds like a trauma bond, actually. I
Yeah.
kind of like it.
Yeah.
Serious. You guys have the best trauma bonds from your travels.
I think our trauma bond
All
from
your
Peru
tour.
was Montana Machu Picchu. Because everybody that went up to the top of that, you were sick that day.
I was really sick that day.
And
Like way worse than Egypt.
yeah, and
That's pretty
that
common
was
from the
tough.
elevation, right?
yeah, that was a tough hike for everybody. Everybody felt really there were people crying up at the top when we got to the top of that.
In
was-
like in like awe and like
It's
I
like,
think
I'm gonna
overwhelmed from
die.
physical
Yeah, because they're
exertion-
dying.
overwhelmed from physical exertion, the experience, because you're up so high looking out over all of Machu Picchu, and then you're collectively in this group and you're feeling, yeah, it was just like this this really special moment for a lot of people. That was cool.
Yeah, same thing happened when we hiked the Inca Trail. And
You did the Inca Trail. I forgot about that.
First glimpse of Machu Picchu, everyone was crying except for me. I don't cry. You know,
You gotta be a
Come on.
cry.
Just kidding. It was really like an emotional moment, and it was perfect. It was probably 6 a.m. They got us up super early. We didn't sleep at all, so that part sucked. But we get to the can't remember what they call it, but you're overlooking Machu Picchu, and you can only access this if you actually do the hike. It's like where the solstice alignment happens, like with the Sun Temple. And anyways, fog over Machu Picchu. You can't see anything.
Oh.
People are kind of disappointed, and then boom, it just like clears and you see it. And I got a time lapse of it actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was dope. It was cool. One of the coolest things I've ever done.
Dude.
Hard. Not super hard. I've done harder hikes, but like you're at high elevation the entire
It's the
time.
elevation.
Yeah.
It really kicks your ass. I want to we're pushing the live streams for the event because there's a ton of what was I gonna say? I just had a brain fart. But we're pushing the live stream. We're doing a raffle. Gary, you're hosting the live stream all weekend. Will and I are speaking there. Sammy's gonna be filming. We're just missing Kay. We tried to get
I
you
wasn't
out
invited
there,
to do anything. It was really rude. Apparently, I'm not good enough. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I'd be there if I could be. But if there's anything
can come
I
give birth
pregnancy. Wah. Just come on.
You can come give birth and give birth to your child at the
If you
hospital
watch
I was born
Avatar,
at.
they have warrior pregnant women. Okay, they have pregnant women going out into battle.
Dude, I live in the South. I've eaten so much since I got pregnant. I have like back fat now. Like I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was just like, yeah, I shouldn't have gotten pregnant with a Southerner. I love my husband to death, but he's like, again, we were talking about this before we came on the stream today. He's 6'4". He's too tall. I'm going to give birth to a giant monster baby, and it's destroyed my body, and I'm fine with it because I love it unconditionally, obviously. But like, fuck, I hate walking now.
Can I tie this into a quick
Giant monster.
Can I tie this into a conquistador story real quick?
Yeah.
It's gonna make me feel like shit. I can feel it already.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you feel like I am. So, and no, I hope it doesn't. Because the conquistadors said that the women were the porters for the men there, even if they were pregnant. They would carry these huge loads, and that multiple times, I believe it was Pedro Pizarro, witnessed one of these pregnant women stop, give birth on the trail, take it to the river, wash the baby off, put it in a little cloth, and then take their load again and continue the job.
That's insane.
I know, just like gnarly, right?
I hate that okay, so I was having this conversation earlier with a friend of mine who co-authoring my book with, Carl. He you can look him up. His name's Carl Higby. Most of his videos are either him on TV yelling about stuff, or he's at the gym just like looking like a machine. And I said to him, I was like, I really fucked up with this pregnancy because I didn't do any kind of pre-planning ahead of time. Every single woman I know who lifts, it's like 2 pushes and that baby is out. No tearing. We're good to go. And since you guys have all talked about having the shits on a train, I'm going to talk about childbirth.
Sure.
It is gross and I'm terrified. But I said to him, I was just like,
She's trolling us right now.
just to get my
Is she
body
trolling?
back
There we go.
up.
All right. You cut out for a second there.
Yeah. Repeat
did.
all of that.
I got so angry about like giving birth and not being skinny anymore. But no, I said to him, I was like, I really want to start lifting. Like I want to take these 2 years after I give birth to this child so I can get my body back, so I can basically become a bodybuilder. So the next baby I have, same thing. I can just be like 2 pushes and it's out and we're good to go and everything's going to be glorious and it's going to be great. And I hate that you brought that up, Will, because that now further confirms my hypothesis. And now I can't go back on it because I'm stubborn like that.
To be
And now
fair,
it's in my head.
child mortality was probably not great. You know, I think
Probably
the way
not.
you're doing it is just fine.
Well,
right?
getting back fat, thanks. Thanks. No.
It'll burn right off. Don't worry.
Oh
about it.
yeah, I'm
It'll be
sure.
fine.
I'll be chasing random cats off my porch that don't live here. Like that's all I ever do anyway. But no, maybe I need to go hike Machu Picchu or something like that. I actually miss hiking. That's like the biggest thing. But I don't know if I want to go on a trauma trip. Like that's
Yeah,
what
just go to Egypt after you give birth and like, you know, don't digest anything for 10 days.
Go eat at McDonald's instead. That'll work.
Have that be your first meal. It doesn't shock the system at all.
Did you, Gary, did you lose like 10 pounds? Because I did.
Yeah, I lost weight for sure. Just that one day.
I gained all of your pounds for you.
Well, I'll tell you
did.
guys what it is. When you travel overseas, you're not eating the seed oils and all the different stuff in America, and you de-bloat, basically.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not even, you might lose some weight, but you're also just not bloated anymore.
Yeah.
You guys
Well,
might
I don't think that was my issue. I think
I sure
the
remember
different bacteria in the food. I'm just so sensitive. Really sensitive tummy.
I got full on dysentery when I was in Cambodia and
Oof.
didn't really get to see Angkor Wat. It was a 10-day ordeal.
Oh,
I was like, I gotta go. So I went there sick as a dog to go see the dinosaur relief carving.
Wow.
And
yeah.
then immediately got back to my hotel to continue dying. And it was bad. It was bad. But I'm gonna go back. I'm going back to Asia. Actually, Mike, should we tell them what we're thinking about doing? Oh, is Mike frozen now?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
He
I
does
think-
that. He pretends.
I was
He's just so
pondering all
still.
the implications. Yeah, why not, man? You go ahead.
Well, we're kind of flirting with the idea of going to Indonesia at some point in 2026. There are these 60,000-year-old cave paintings that might be older than the ones in France that I really want to see on the island of, is it Sulawesi?
Yeah, Sulawesi.
Yeah.
Sulawesi. And I had a buddy that just went there and was posting some pictures of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go see this. Me and Mike started chatting. There's megaliths down there in Indonesia. There's all kinds of petroglyphs and beyond ancient sites. And so, yeah, we might go do a little Indonesia trip. We don't know exactly what, but yeah.
Heck yeah. I love how Mike's 2026 is just like, he has no, you're going to end up fitting in like another 6 trips. Like I know it. So you might as well go to Indonesia.
I'm trying not to do anything major until Japan. And then, well, you know, and then we're throwing Indonesia in there. And then, you know, I think there's a couple other ones towards the end of the year. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of base some of my travel a little bit more around whenever there's tours going on. That way I'm not paying more to fly back and forth around the world. I'm already over somewhere, stay an extra week, do that, and see some sites, get some content.
You should do a tour, get some content. You should get because Michael Button, when he was on the show, he talked a lot about the Sulawesi stuff. So I think he would be into it. You could do a pretty sick Indo tour.
It's an area that hasn't been documented a whole lot. It's not exactly easy to do. Like you have to fly into Indonesia, I think Jakarta, and then you have to travel to.
Can we do scuba dive? Can we go do a treasure hunting trip near Sulawesi and go in the ocean?
Good surfing.
Remember what he was saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so like these guys don't like flying. Scuba diving is like my version of y'all's not liking flying. I don't.
Wait, why?
I'll do it,
is?
and I've done
Mike,
it.
can you swim?
I can swim really good.
Wait,
My
what did you
problem
say is your version of
scuba
flying?
diving?
Hmm.
My problem is like I feel completely out of my element, and like there's no way to keep track all around me. I can't.
And you're not the top of the food chain.
I'm not, and yes, I'm not at the top of the food chain. I'm out of my element. I can't properly defend myself if something happened, and I have to trust this equipment on my back that if it went out, I'm like fucked.
You're not gonna be that deep.
I'll be honest with you. The idea of drowning is far worse to me than crashing in a plane or catching on fire or being or something horrible happening to me. It just seems
I'd
like
rather drown
the
than catch on
worst way
fire.
to die.
Yeah, me too. I would definitely rather drown than catch
Fire
on
would
fire.
definitely suck.
1000%.
Yeah.
I don't
think for me
know.
what it is that if you were drowning and you could hold your breath, you could hold your breath for a while, and then it's just like panic and terror. Whereas the other ones, you go into shock pretty quick. And
yeah, it's definitely a
right.
more
Hang out with the
drawn out
future.
process.
it's a more drawn out process. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a higher chance of survival if you're in a drowning situation than in a burning situation. Does that make sense?
I would
don't
rather
know.
be saved from drowning than being on fire. Yeah.
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 But
Well, if you're safe from drowning, you don't like you just recover. If you don't get like with fire, you'll be covered in
Right,
burn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
that's
I
the
tried
next
scuba
poll we
diving
need to
one
run
time.
because what the fuck has happened to this stream, guys?
It's not a good look being burned to death. Trust me.
No,
Not a good
Not a
look.
good
Yeah.
look.
no. Well, I think, yeah, you're going to be doing the AI visuals of like what that's probably like in one of the videos, like one of the
Yeah.
upcoming videos, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that'll be gory and traumatizing, but also will completely vindicate people like me and Gary who are like, no, fucking drowning is way better than burning to death. Oh my God. But you should definitely do Indo. I think that would be cool. I would love to do Indo. I kind of regret not going. I had a bunch of friends who moved out there because they were all marine biologists. They all moved out there after uni and just like hung out on the beach and went scuba diving and saw cool shit and ate great food, and the people are amazing. And yeah,
I was about to bring that one up. How would that even be possible? You would have to be in an oil fire.
You'd have to be Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Asteroid. Right, we need to get to super chats, guys, because it's getting late. We're like 2.5, almost 3 hours into this thing. Let's get some super chats going.
And we got a show coming up this weekend. Big show.
Big show. Let's plug that.
How does everyone tune in? What is the best way for everyone to find everything this weekend? Then I really want to plug everyone else as well. Just a guy on a donkey. Hey, guy on a donkey.
I'm pretty sure Gollum's half botched circumcision just likes donating to us so that we have to say his name on
He's such a generous guy.
I'm here for it. It's amazing. I'll say it. Gollum's half botched
circumcision. PYG, that's Paraguay? Shout out to Paraguay. I love Paraguay.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite countries I've ever visited, actually, believe it or not.
Is that Paraguayan?
Legal weed.
Can we buy a house with that?
That's actually Uruguay, whoever said legal weed.
Oh, yeah.
Paraguay is the landlocked one that no one goes to, but actually it's pretty chill.
Nice. Nice. Heck yeah.
Grace, what's up?
Thank you for joining.
Just
tune in every week for the payoff.
Thank you, sir. It was a lot of fun in Egypt. He just joined the Japan tour a few days ago too, so he'll be joining us.
Oh, heck yeah!
I feel like you're gonna shit yourself less in Japan. I don't know why.
Yes.
A lot
and if
less.
you do, it's gonna, you're gonna clean up real nice. They got the nice little bidets.
Yeah,
it's all
I
good.
can't wait to try the Japanese toilets. Yeah.
Well, apparently they had bidets in Egypt too. It took me a couple days to figure that out.
They're like garden hoses, though, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't figure out how to flush the toilet at our hotel because the button wasn't working, and so I thought that the hose was supposed to like plug into the toilet.
Yes.
And like I didn't know what I was doing, and so I had to go down to the front desk and I like asked for help. And then he was like, "You just press the button." I was like, "Well, it's not working." And then I went back up and tried again, and it worked totally fine. And
That's hilarious.
At least he didn't offer to show you how to use it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was certainly within the realms of possibilities. So.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Trish, thank you
Then
so
charge
much
you.
for being hanging out
And then
with us this weekend, which is great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Trish since Peru, so it'll be
What
good
up,
to
Trish?
see Trish
See
again.
you in Arizona.
Thank you. We got a lot of new members today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anthony, thank you for joining. Thanks for hanging.
Oh. B Buster. Dropping some funny stuff tonight.
Buster.
What are we doing here? What am I doing? Everything right?
I don't think so.
I think the needle is right now. Read the public awareness between alts and archeos. Oh, like I think okay. So I was having this conversation with someone the other day. Like it might even have been on the live stream earlier. Joe Rogan. No, it wasn't. It was. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who runs a national radio show, and I felt like an asshole for saying it, but I was like, everyone wanted Rush Limbaugh's position. Where after he passed, everyone wanted to be Rush Limbaugh. They wanted his time slot, and there was like this mad rush in the radio sphere to get that time slot, and it went to Buck Sexton. I love Buck. I wouldn't have my career if it weren't for Buck. And Clay Travis. But Joe Rogan is our generation's Rush Limbaugh. So it's kind of a redundant.
Mixed.
Yeah. And so I think the public awareness is actually really, really, really high because more people watch Rogan than watch anyone in the mainstream media, especially radio. So I think actually awareness is super high on this issue.
And I think it's getting high. It's trending up big.
It's trending up because the people presenting it are actually good presenters.
Right.
I think in a lot of ancient civ sphere, it gets really dry, but people have found ways to make it way more interesting, enthralling, engaging to where this is where archaeology has lost because you have history. Michael does. History's great. History's exciting. It's a matter of how you present it to people. And if you're when you get locked into a job where you're not going to get fired and you have all this power over young minds and you don't really have to work that hard because your platform is there every day, you don't strive for it. Now there are some teachers out there and professors who are really good, but it's few and far between, and that's why they're getting their asses kicked by Michael, Ben from Uncharted X, Megalithomania. Graham's funny. Graham can be funny when he wants to. Randall's funny. Randall's really funny when he wants to be. And you actually do need to mix in that humor and that levity once in a while. That's what was missing. And that's why it's kicking ufology's ass too. Ufology lost all of their best people. They all basically died, unfortunately. And we have a couple good ones left, like Richard Dolan still out there. But that's for one, Ancient Civ has more actual data to back it up. We have something we can touch, something tangible, not some fucking fuzzy thing. But that's why they're winning right now, because it's presentation.
The only real archaeologist that I actually follow, that I actually like her content, is Fig Tree on YouTube. The only archaeologist that I know of that actually does their own videos that are interesting and fun and engaging. But she's younger too, so I don't know.
Yes.
It's a huge opportunity right now for some archaeologist that wants to be a maverick and just start making good quality content. You don't even have to go and be, out of this world with speculation. Just making good content, telling a good story, live streaming your excavations. There's a huge opportunity for it right now. there's a couple people I've noticed that are starting to do. There's a guy named Hugh Thomas that does archaeology out in Saudi Arabia, and I've been following him a little bit, but then he goes out in the field and he won't post for a couple months. So whoever kind of decides to make this a career as an archaeologist is going to blow up. And I always thought it was funny, like me and Dr. Gregory Little, who, shout out to him, he's like, I look up to that guy. OG, he's so awesome. We were talking one time and he made the point, in physics, you're allowed to kind of dive into the realm of, nonsense isn't the word I want for lack of better words, but you're allowed to dive into the realm of like out there speculation, right? Mm-hmm. They made the movie, what's the movie with Matthew McConaughey?
Interstellar.
Like you're allowed to go out there and be like, what if you had this clock right here, you had these two twins that were in a spaceship, you're allowed to do that. Well, in history, they don't allow themselves to do that. So guys like Graham and Randall are able to captivate an audience by, allowing themselves to say a lot more than, at this site, they ate berries and they collected nuts. It's like, no, that shouldn't be on an infographic at a site. Like, there's so much more you could be talking about. What were they looking at in the sky? What kind of constellations were going on? And to be fair, it has gotten better. Like if you go out to like the American Southwest and some of these sites, they are talking a lot more about the astronomy and some of the cool stuff they were doing. But for a long time, it was boring. The textbooks were boring. Physics was allowing themselves to like go out there and do these mind experiments, which are really cool, these hypotheticals. And history should also be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to allow themselves to do that, they're going to get ran over. They're getting
ran over.
Yep.
Right. So
the textbooks suck, and we can blame Ghislaine Maxwell's dad for a lot of that.
I had that same thought.
That's wild.
That's exactly where my brain went to.
See, that's so much.
I brought up that previous content that previous comment because I think that's just the example for so many of us having learned about Graham through the JRE over 10 years ago. And according to our poll, which has 398 votes, was Graham's work your entry into ancient history? 50% said yes. So
that's huge.
So Graham is how I found. I knew Joe Rogan's podcast was out there, but I didn't care about it. I didn't care about MMA or him talking to celebrities. But Graham's how I found Joe.
Same.
So Graham was an old guest on Art Bell and had been around. That's how it's Joe heard Graham on Art Bell, and that's how he picked up his book.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think my first JRE episode I ever watched was when I was in college still. It was Graham, and I actually think it was a Graham and Randall episode that made me first start questioning climate change. It was their, I think it was their first episode together where I was like, oh, wow.
Episode together is one of the best ones. I've listened to it a million times.
Yeah. So good. They pulled up the graph of the Younger Dryas temperature fluctuations.
Yep.
And I was like, oh yeah, no, this kind of just blows a lot of climate science or the narrative around it out of the water. And so I think it was America Before was my first book that I really dove into of Graham's. In that first chapter, he describes the summer solstice eve at Serpent Mound and how, he got this drone shot of it. And I went out to Serpent Mound and put my drone in there and took a time lapse. Like there's so many things that Graham did that made me want to go to these sites and actually see it for myself. Hueyatlaco, actually, shout out to Graham for this. Hueyatlaco, all my videos with that when it happened. He had one little sentence in his America Before book about that site. And I just happened to be in Puebla, Mexico when I read it. I was like, oh, wow, I'm here. I should go find that place. So Graham was definitely a big reason why I got in. I was a history teacher, but why I got into like starting to question things a little bit on this side of things. So
that's awesome.
Questioning
that's revolutionary right there. That's why so many of these, the archaeos, the big archaeology guys can't stand him, is because he's created that leadership and that followership and community around the subject matter that none of them have been able to do.
I think that there
yeah.
is like a portion of these people too that genuinely do believe that they're like fighting the good fight against misinformation. Like, when his show came out, I mean, not all of them. I think for sure some of them are like do the pushback because of ulterior motives. But I think like, I don't know the point of that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Some of them do, but and it's because they're blinded by their bias and their politics.
Right.
A lot of this is just pure politics. When they were coming out and accusing Graham of white supremacy, this goes back to Donnelly and Donnelly wasn't like this either, but this was that's the general perception from academia, was that the whole Atlantis thing was try to push some fucking Aryan thing, and nobody's ever said. I don't think anybody thinks Atlanteans are white. And
in fact, Graham said the opposite. He said they were probably not, right? But
and it was pushed by some groups in, we'll say, the 40s that was trying to push so they equate, because one group, believe me, I deal with this in my sphere all the fucking time, because like one group like Tolkien, all of a sudden all of it's fucking racist, and and the same thing happened to Graham, and it's done to discredit, and it's because they want to control the information. This is all about, I wish it was about money. Money would make sense. Like if you're selling out for money, I get it. You got your bills to pay, but you're selling out for control. And it's ego and hubris. That's what's stopping us from learning so much, is just pure ego, which is sad, but that's what we're dealing with. When you have like the Dibbler out there, he wanted to come on our show, right? And of course he wants to come on our show and like shit on us, because I'm not an archaeologist. I'm a big dummy. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools. But and my answer to him would be, if I ever want to talk about seeds, we'll have him on. But I don't give a shit about seeds at all. So and that was where a lot of that came from, and it sucks, because there's definitely something there. The word Atlantis is so bugaboo, but I'm like, that's what makes me want to use it more. It's like they're trying to get rid of UFO. I want to use that more, because they're trying to control the language and soften it up. And it's what Graham did with Fingerprints of the Gods was a spiritual. He got a lot from Velikovsky. If you guys know about Velikovsky, definitely read that book. It's amazing. It's probably pure fantasy, but it's a good story. But not all of it is. Einstein liked the guy and wrote a foreword for him. And then you had Zecharia Sitchin come out, and even Chariots of the Gods with Eric von Daniken. What Graham wrote a sequel to those and did ground it into something that wasn't alien, and something that made way more sense. But Graham wouldn't have happened if those guys hadn't written those books. And I've talked about it before. Ancient Aliens, you can shit on that show all you want. That show has brought people to Joe. It was a progression. And that show showed so many of the ancient sites that we're going to now before anybody was going there.
That's so true.
Ancient Aliens for me was definitely a stepping stone of watching stuff in my 20s and seeing sites that I'd never even heard of before on the TV, and just being like, oh my God, I want to go there.
Pumapunku.
That's my first time I've ever heard of it too. It's on Ancient Aliens. I was young. I was in college still, I think. Yeah.
So
those things are crazy. And the more we find it, I don't know if you guys saw the French documentary that came out a couple of years ago. We covered it on Forbidden Frontier, but those things, did you ever see the French, that like how they measured them? And they're a meter.
Oh, wow.
So it got them thinking, well, maybe the meter, and this totally makes sense, wasn't something that was discovered or developed by Europe. It was rediscovered. It was something it's a measurement that's been around forever.
Yeah. Right? It's like almost like innate to humans. Like that's what we, for whatever reason, like, have you ever heard of like Fibonacci sequences?
Yes. They talk about that too. Yeah.
There's probably something to that with measurements, why we're all using similar measurements or even symbols. It's really interesting.
I actually got to go to Pumapunku during COVID, And so I had the site all to myself.
Nice.
And was able to film it with no people in the shot, and then work with Ancient Aliens. It's in their show from a season or two ago.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Shout out
pretty.
to Giorgio.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I got a DM one day from Giorgio. It's like, hey man, I bought your book. I was like, for real?
Ah,
Oh my gosh.
nice.
And I was like, I really
That's
liked
so
it.
cool.
He goes, my only criticism is you didn't put your name. What's your name? You didn't put your name in the book. I was like, yeah, I just went with incredible history. But that was cool. Yeah, shout out to Giorgio.
So I like Giorgio.
Real quick, those 2 French documentaries, Johanna James does the voiceover on the first one. Right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're really effing good if you can see him. Giorgio's awesome. I hung out with him before he got big. He was
that's right. You're telling me a couple stories.
Yeah, El Sobrante. He lived in sorry to dox him, but he's gone now. He was staying at a house in El Sobrante in the Bay Area at my friend's house while we were in our little video school, and I helped light an interview that was like his basically his sizzle reel, his test footage for Ancient Aliens.
That's so cool.
I still have some of that footage.
Cool.
Did he have the hair then?
No, very toned down. So the hair became a meme because I let him tell the story, but my guess is some hairstylist just went fucking nuts with his hair one day, and he just kind of rolled with it. And the reason Giorgio is this famous is because he did the smartest thing possible. He leaned into the meme. When somebody memes it, you lean into it. You go, yep. Started making T-shirts, and the rest was history.
And he's beyond that now. He doesn't need it anymore.
This, right?
No.
Like it still has...
No. He's probably doing pretty well.
Because they got bigger as the seasons went on for a little bit there. It hit max Giorgio at a certain point.
It's kind of toned down.
I mean, there's like a psychology to using your hair to make yourself more recognizable and more well known.
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind for this weekend.
Wasn't that like the Ric Flair thing?
Yeah.
That was why he used to bleach his hair as well.
I think you got it with your beard, just like having the.
I'll play it out.
Yeah.
Forward.
It's like the peacocking type. Yeah. I'm here for it.
Jose A. Taco, I'll miss Scottsdale. I have finals this week, FML. Jose, thank you so much. Jose was one of our ticket winners. He won tickets and then he gifted them away because he couldn't make it. So very generous. Aww. Very generous of him.
You don't need to finish your finals, Jose. Come on.
I was about to say like, no, study. Yeah, no, you're right.
Buster.
5 Wandering Wolf memberships.
Yeah, thank you.
That's so generous. Thank you. I think we lost
Gary memberships.
Your thoughts on Chan Thomas, the Adam and Eve story?
So I have some big feelings on this, but maybe not the answer necessarily to this specific question. But the first time I heard about this story was from AJ through the Y Files.
It's the biggest video ever, isn't it?
I think it is, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it has 30 million views on YouTube.
Oh, is that all? Whatever.
I feel like AJ is our generation's, in the same way that Rogan is our generation's Rush. I think AJ is our generation's Art Bell. Oh. And he always throws up in his hands when I tell him this, but I'm like, do you want some extra responsibility, you little shit rat? Here, this is who you are to all of us.
He loves hearing that too, doesn't he? When you give him compliments, he's so
oh
he's
my
like,
god,
no.
He just like turtles up so bad, and just like.
I wonder if like Y Files, they probably approached him to do a show, and he would probably say no, because why would you take the pay cut, and like why would you want to give up control? That would be insane.
I don't know anything, and I'm going to stop talking now.
Okay, well, listen, that's just purely my speculation. They've had to have come up to that guy and ask him to do a show, like absolutely. Yeah.
So
and he should. And if he's listening,
now and
say no, don't do it.
Yeah,
5 million, I think. Let me check.
It's 5 million now.
Well, I don't know. Let me see.
He's over. He's almost 6 million. Almost 6 million.
I remember not AJ. Like I think it was Jimmy Corsetti when when he asked me, when AJ asked me to come do some writing for him, I texted Jimmy being like, should I do this? And Jimmy was like, you'll be I'll never forgive you if you don't. Like, don't be that fucking stupid bitch who says no. And yeah, for those 5 minutes I got to do it, it was the most fun. And it is like my biggest bragging right, I think, to date, really, up until we launched this thing. Because he is like, and like the Chan Thomas thing, we were talking about this just now, like the way that he debunks, like the Adam and Eve story in particular, I think is a good one, because there is still that like tiny little gap of like maybe, but he debunks with such love that you don't feel like ridiculed for believing it the whole way through.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Yep. Like you feel like you're on the journey with him. And that's also why I fully believe that the moon is hollow now as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was Art Bell's gift. And AJ will acknowledge that he would listen and entertain anybody saying the craziest shit.
Mel's Hole.
Mel's Hole, time traveler hotline, Area 51 hotline, freaking open lines. Open lines was insanity on Art Bell. But he was really patient with most everybody. And that's what makes it entertaining. It's really non-confrontational. But and you get more information, like the audience, that's respecting the audience. That's the audience can decide for themselves. We'll let them do it.
Give them all of the information, and no one's an idiot no matter what they think. Always drink the yogurt in Middle East countries, and North African. I will
say yogurt again.
Yogurt.
I love
yogurt.
Yogurt. Oh my god.
I hang out with enough Brits to know.
I'm just being foreign. It's fine.
Wait, say it with your Swansea, your Swansea accent.
Like drinking yogurt.
Yogurt.
We see it in Wales.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's so good.
Do you say Nissan correctly or Nike correctly?
I say Nike correctly.
Okay.
Nissan.
No, it's not. It's Nissan.
Yeah, I know. My late father-in-law drove a Nissan truck, and I brought it up a few times, and my husband's like, "What the fuck are you on about?"
How about Adidas?
Adidas.
See, that's wrong.
Adidas.
I do say Adidas now. I've been here.
That's more fun though.
Adidas.
Aluminium. That's much
It's
better.
always going to be aluminium.
What about squirrel?
Squirrel. Oh my god! I killed a squirrel this week, and it was like the same size as them. And they come up to the door with the squirrel, and they're like, eh! And it's like, you're not coming inside with that. And then we came home, and they'd eaten half of it, and it was on the doorstep. And it's like I had to step over dead squirrel to get into my house, and I was just like,
this thing.
Oh my gosh, she got some feral
thing
cats.
Would never. She would never.
Can they come to my house?
Look at that baby. What's her name?
Callie.
Callie.
She would never not be, probably because she wouldn't want to, but it's because she's blind and has no canines.
Oh, look at her. That's
little
pretty
toothless,
cute.
little puss.
Oh, toothless.
One of our murderers is in
Little
here. I can't
toothless.
tell which one it is though. There's so fucking many of them right now.
Got a new member, GJ Jensen 1000. Thank you so much.
From Texas. Is that a Texas flag?
Blanton Bryant's a member. Everybody joined, is becoming members today. This is so cool.
We're gonna have a follow-up show. Oh yeah, so I was like, this is one of the ones that I started because I actually want to know this too, because I have a lot of people who want to watch after the fact. So what's going to be the easiest way for people to get involved remotely?
So the live stream is going to be hosted by Gary, the Forbidden Frontier. Well, Gary and Garrett, Quarter Black Garrett.
Gary and Gary.
And Adam couldn't make it. So you guys will have something that people in person at the event won't have. You'll have narration by Gary and Garrett, and you guys will be doing little mini interviews in between speakers too, which I think is going to be really cool. That's going to be fun.
That's awesome.
That's genius. I love that.
And then if you get your tickets, we're doing a giveaway. I want to touch on that real quick, which is if you buy your tickets now till the 8th, I believe, if I remember that correctly, you automatically get entered into raffle prizes. And the grand prize winner, there's like going to be 4 prizes. But you'll automatically get entered to win 2 tickets to the Sedona conference in May and 3 nights hotel room, double occupancy included with 2 front row tickets.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Pretty amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's big.
more tickets, more front row seats and stuff being given out as well. And I think there's that information is posted somewhere. We're going to be posting and we'll be announcing on the December 21st the winners. Entry period is November 22nd through December 8th. If you get to the live stream tickets within that window, you'll be entered for these winnings, and then you have access to the live stream. You can watch it for a while. So yeah, get your live stream tickets. It's gonna be fun. You'll be able to be there with us, basically.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. We'll be doing some recaps next week too. The moon is so undiscussed. Oh yeah. I mean, I could sit and talk about the moon all freaking
Did you guys
day
watch-
because
did you watch
it's
the
not
Danny-
real.
Did you watch the Danny Jones episode with Bart Sabrell and the Apollo astronaut? It was
Not
weird.
yet. It's on my list. Okay,
Weird.
but did you
Bart
come
at the
away from it?
beginning. I'll kind of just give you my take on it a little bit. So Bart kind of was like being a little too pushy at the beginning, so I'm sure he lost some people. But if you just keep listening to the podcast, to be fair, this guy's pretty old, but he kind of just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. We went to the moon. I was on the moon. And it's almost like he got MK Ultra into believing that he was like on the moon. It was weird. Like, it was a strange episode. I highly recommend watching it. Danny Jones does an excellent job. Like, they kind of grill this guy in like a polite way. Well, Bart was not exactly polite, but Danny was polite. And so that's his latest episode with Danny Jones, is you have the biggest moon debunker conspiracy guy versus an actual astronaut that claims to have been on the moon. Pretty wild episode.
Heck yeah. I love Danny Jones. Like,
too.
I know he grew up in like a super posh, I didn't realize this, but like he grew up living opposite someone like it's one of those ones where they drop it and they're like, oh, you grew up in one of those like massive mansion neighborhoods with a lot of money, a lot of this, a lot of that, the other. And I just never would have put that together. I felt like he was more of like a Julian Dory type, just, you know, your everyday American, but he comes from like a super privileged background, and the fact that he's putting all of his time and effort into like what he does, I don't know, he doesn't come across that way. Like, he comes across so humble and so like man of the people. Yeah, Danny's definitely up there.
Gary, did we go to the moon or not?
We went to the moon.
Oh, shut up, Gary. No, we fucking didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Like,
Yeah, we did.
like in the 60s?
Yeah.
Or like since then?
Since then, don't know. There's probably a very nefarious reason we haven't gone back, and half the footage is probably faked. But
we still went. No.
yes,
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to believe. It's what I want to believe, that we went to the moon. I would be devastated.
as AJ said in his video. Okay, this is a hoax that would involve 500,000 people.
Right.
500,000 people involved in a hoax, and nobody has come out and said this is like out and out fake from NASA. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody. But what
That's
people
fair.
have come out and said is, oh, we've doctored a lot of the photos.
They doctor the photos of Mars to make it more red. I don't know. I feel like I've researched and done enough. So I actually had a friend who was in Nexium, and I think the cult thing, it's a lot easier to manipulate people en masse. And especially when you have a team of, like 500,000 people, like, but that's not 500,000 people working together. That's 500,000 people siloed into their separate areas. A lot of them not actually allowed to communicate directly. They go through,
Oh, that's
the
government control.
hierarchies. This could be like a whole massive.
That
other
would have to
show,
be
but
a conspiracy. And I love a conspiracy, and I believe most of them, and I believe they found some shit on that moon, and that's the reason we haven't gone back. The
Ooh,
reason we haven't gone back
okay.
is they found shit.
Okay.
Ooh,
But
maybe
we
I like
definitely
that.
we didn't we got those Nazis for a reason, to help build the rockets.
And maybe they were
and-
already there.
Have
Maybe they
you?
were
But
already there.
okay. Have you
That's
watched the
right.
interviews with the
Yes,
astronauts right
I've watched
after? They're
everything.
so weird, though, right?
They are
Like,
weird because
they're
they saw some
weird.
shit
And
and they
Yeah,
can't
it's
talk
late,
about
but
it.
later, like later, and was it Buzz Aldrin who said like right before he died, like a reporter asked him like what was the craziest thing about landing on the moon, and he says the craziest thing is that it never happened.
Buzz is
that
still
means
alive.
so
Buzz
the
is
moon
still alive.
surveyors that have gone around from other countries too that have seen the site that's there. So they're fake. They're all faking that too.
Yeah, 100%. But no,
Well,
I'm like, I don't know.
Bard's explanation for that is it's way more valuable to blackmail NASA and be like, yo, we know you didn't go to the moon. But
What's the
yeah,
point in,
once again, you couldn't keep it all contained. Like,
I mean,
But have we kept it contained though? Because if we're sitting here all debating and discussing the authenticity of it, does that mean it's contained? Because I feel like none of us would be arguing and debating on it if it wasn't
something's off.
contained.
They're not telling the truth about everything.
So
Yeah,
I
there's
want
some
to
weird
watch.
stuff,
They're
like-
not.
Barry, send
like
me
the-
your recommendations of videos to watch on the stuff they may have found because I don't know anything about that.
Well,
and
I think
feel
the
like,
survey, like the European surveyor that like has found like the site, you know, I think that's pretty definitive,
Right.
you know,
Right.
unless they faked it too. And it,
Europeans.
like, and well, I mean, it's possible, but
And then, like another weird thing was like Neil Armstrong gifted a moon rock to the prime minister of the Netherlands, and then they locked it up immediately. And then they recently found out it was petrified wood, like it wasn't actually a moon rock. Like, why did they do that? You know, like there's a bunch of weird stuff that they didn't need to do that made it weird. And now Bart and all these other guys focus in on stuff like that. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff.
yeah, like it's like the Kennedy assassination. There's like so many things we can go down the rabbit hole on that I absolutely believe. But we went to the moon, and I think we haven't gone back because we found evidence of a civilization there.
Ooh,
I like that.
There was
That's
there was a lot of evidence that UFOs were watching them. We're actually there. There's lots of stuff that we got company. There's tons of that. So
I think I meant to say Neil
yeah.
Armstrong earlier, by the way, not Buzz Aldrin,
there's
obviously.
like footage, right? Isn't
I
there,
think a guy debating like an 85-year-old astronaut on a podcast is a little disingenuous, to be honest with you. Like that guy's probably never been on a podcast before, has no
Yeah.
idea what he's walking into, and you got some master skeptic there who's got all his arguments ready, and like the guy's probably like, "What the fuck?" You know, that would be my guess.
yeah,
with that.
that's why I prefaced it with like he's pretty
Yeah.
old.
That's debating is bullshit. It's all a matter of like, that's why I'm not a big fan of it. I could sit there and debate my critics all day online, but it's bullshit. It's about who argues better. It's not factual. It's mostly not factual. And you know, just watch anything on Piers, you know, which I'm on.
Oh,
like,
God,
are we
no.
getting to the truth on Piers? No, we're
No.
just
So
having
funny.
fun.
Everyone in Britain hates that guy so much that, like, I remember when I first moved out here, everyone was like, "Oh, do you like Piers Morgan?" I was like, "No." Everyone in Britain hates him because of the phone hacking scandal and how he traumatized the families of like dead women with the phone hacking scandal. I don't understand why he's famous here. And then I realized that y'all will just listen to us because of our accents. So that's Piers Morgan, basically. I do like that he is probably one of the only people in the sort of MSM, like mainstream news media, who will have the kind of people on, like, he basically exposes, you know, people like us in our research to the boomers, which I think is kind of cool, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's Jerry
yeah.
Springer.
Yeah.
He's Jerry Springer. He's the
Yeah,
modern Jerry Springer.
He's pretty
Well,
Springer. That's fair.
Aries made me feel better because after that Danny Jones episode is like the first time I ever kind of like I was like, you know what? That was kind of a weird episode.
Oh,
I want the moon to be. I want those moon missions to be real.
like some of the stuff I would say they faked is a lot of the photography. I have a hard time believing that the film made it past all, there's a lot of radiation bombarding the moon. Now they have an explanation for that. But Stanley Kubrick going out and faking, like, somebody would have verified that. Somebody would have, like, you can't compartmentalize that, especially the way Stanley Kubrick died. Now, if you want to get conspiratorial, I think they killed Stanley Kubrick because he was exposing like child pedo rings with Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Director's cut. He probably had a copy of it somewhere. Don't you
There's
think?
a lot of evidence that that's what he was aiming to do, including his daughters come out and said that stuff. But
they definitely changed it like 30 days before release, right?
Yeah,
like,
It was.
Yeah. Well, that just got this whole stream censored.
There we go. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We just watched I think one of the Scooper Coop episodes on that kind of stuff, and he covers everything. And if he's not getting censored, then this definitely
I like Danny Jones though. I think he has a really good show.
Good vibes.
We'll have astronaut farmers. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get taken out by some cataclysm. I think that's like the next natural progression. Instead of putting nukes in space, which we can't because of the aliens, they won't let us. We're going to start growing stuff in space, which I think would be pretty sick. Redundant. We have plenty of space here to grow it, but would still be pretty freaking cool.
And nukes are very safe. Talk to my pal Ryan Kinnell. He used to be a nuclear tech in the Navy. Very safe. It should be all of our power right now, but it's not because of some hippies.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, I feel like this is a question for you.
It goes back to the 70s, like the hysteria around nuclear power.
I don't.
I think the answer to that question is anyone believe there'll ever be a chance John Reeves will allow an archaeological team into the boneyard to study it in situ? No, I do not think so.
And I
there's a reason for that.
There's a big reason for that.
And it will not happen. So
what is the big reason for that?
They fucked him over. Well, I've already got this thing demonetized. Sorry. I don't know. My stuff hasn't been demonetized lately, and I've been cussing.
Yeah, we're 3.5 hours in. We're good. We're past the right.
Sorry, guys.
We're past.
No, he. Well, basically, it was it Smithsonian or the what?
It was. He talks about him. He tweets about him, or he always posts about him on Instagram. There's a. Let me see. It's probably his latest post. They literally stole property from him, right?
They did. They stole a bunch of bones and then they dumped them into the Hudson River.
Oh wait, I wrote about that. Yeah. No, fuck. I completely forgot about that.
We're actually going to be doing a video on that next year. A full video breakdown of all of this is on the agenda for us. It's on the docket. But yeah, they've a bunch of different. In fact, he's writing. What's that?
AMNH, whatever that acronym is.
Yeah, it's the American Museum of Natural History.
Yep.
There we go.
One of these colleges that he donated to thousands of pieces, they just stuck it in a basement somewhere and never did any work on it. He petitioned 20 years later to have these returned. The Senate in Alaska voted unanimously for the college to return everything, and they refused. So they've completely refused because they're not doing anything with it. He asked for it back. They haven't studied them. They haven't researched them. They just put them in a basement and left them there. And then you have the other institution that dumped everything in the Hudson Bay or Hudson River. And then, so his experience with the academic field has been less than stellar, to say the least. And there's a big overlap here with this academic community that he's been dealing with and the archaeological community that a lot of us have been dealing with, and how they treat people as and people with differing ideas, or even the ability to add to the conversation or the path of making new discoveries and stuff. So if you're not within the community and making discoveries, then you're just like X'd out, and it's ridiculous. So, because some are, whatever, academic didn't discover these things like he did. He's out there doing work every day. When I was up there, it's just like they're out there grinding every day, making new discoveries, pulling stuff out of the ground up there. And the implications are huge. They're massive.
He's got the single greatest collection on Earth.
Earth.
Yeah.
And
they're no one in the academic field is looking at it.
They don't even care. So that tells you everything you need to know.
Well,
it's crazy.
They criticize him for the way he's doing it because it's ecological. It's like, just give me a break. Like,
Yeah.
He's digging bones out of muck. Like, and he's finding things like blue feathers inside of tusks, that are 12,000 years old. He's finding species that weren't supposed to be in Alaska at all. And then that's the stuff he talks about. Then there's the stuff he won't talk about. Joe asked him specifically, have you found any humans? And he's all, I'm not going to talk about that.
He probably shouldn't either, because that's how they come after him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
someone said that in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you get your land taken away.
Seized.
Right. And it's like they do it too. There's somebody that just doesn't like that he was probably even on a Rogan in the first place, so somebody would do it. But what was the animal that he found that wasn't supposed to?
Was like a dire wolf.
Yeah.
Like dire wolves weren't supposed to be up there.
Yeah.
At that time.
And didn't
He's
he
found
say
camel bones?
Didn't they grill up a piece of the meat of am I tripping? Did he say that he tasted like one of the Ice Age, like they grilled up one of the Ice Age animals that they found or something like that?
I know the Russians did when they found that. Yeah, the Russians grilled it up. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Hell yeah!
I mean, if you're doing it already and I'm there, I'll take a bite. But
yeah,
little freezer burn. Ain't gonna hurt you.
Mammoth jerky.
Tundra bed.
Yes,
so good.
That's awesome. I love seeing that. And yes,
cool.
I am officially. I can actually claim this. I'm officially a master boner. I found a bone there when I was up there. I found a couple bones, and so I officially have the master boner title that John Reeves so generously bestows on people who have found a bone. But Jimmy and I went up there together. Huge shout out to Jimmy. He was kind enough to take me up there with him to film. And so I got to go up there and have that experience and run the water thing and blast the side of the whatever, and found a mammoth tooth and something else. It was amazing, and it was cool. So yes, I'm a master boner.
Nice. I caught a Jack Trevally the other day here in Puerto Rico. So I'm a masturbator and you're a master boner.
There you go.
Yes, you can pick up tickets at the event, so you can just show up and get tickets there in person.
Bring your friends.
Yeah, bring your friends. Bring your friends. Bring your family.
Bring your grandma.
Bring your grandma.
You
come
guys
hang out with
us.
Or your cats. Are the cats allowed at the hotel?
Bring your cat.
Bring your cat, because I'm gonna be missing mine. So
just say it's an emotional support animal.
Yes, exactly. I have my ESA for both my animals, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just dropping memberships all over the place tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, this has been a good stream.
Yeah.
We'll do a recap. Everybody liked the interview with Graham. I thought it went really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. Graham was awesome.
We had these two studs join us.
Graham's the best. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having me.
Have the best freaking weekend.
We just officially we crossed over our record for views since we've started the live stream. This is our 8th episode, so we've been doing it officially for 2 months, and we just broke our record tonight. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. It's all Gary and Will.
Thank you guys for making that happen.
Yeah. And so wait, what do we have next week? Well, Japan's basically sold out, right? You have what, like 10 tickets left?
You could still get
Eight.
tickets.
You can still get
But
tickets.
there's 9 left, I
8?
think.
9 spots left.
Yeah. And so that's it. It's and that's 71 tickets sold. We sold 2 tonight while we were streaming.
Whoa.
So it's we're at this is gonna be a big tour. It's 80 people, and we're already at 71. There's 9 more spots. So join us. It's gonna be great. Tickets to the conference, it's right below the comment there. Worldviewsmedia.com. It's at the bottom of the screen right there.
There's a little QR code right there.
Well, that's for the.
Is that for the stream?
That's. Sorry,
That's
I'm getting tired. My brain's going out. I don't know if they may have been talking about Japan. So to order tickets to Japan, you can go to wanderingwolfproductions.com's tours.
Which is also in the description for the video. Yeah. Both the conference and Japan tour are in the description already. I pre-did it. I pre-done did it.
Done did it.
Pre-diddy.
It's gonna be good. And there's add-ons too. So there's a 4-day add-on for Hiroshima and a 4-day manga adventure for Tokyo that you can do before and after the tour, the megalithic tour. The megaliths during the day, and then Japanese culture and nightlife in the evenings. It's gonna be sick.
Oh, that's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick.
So, 80 people running around in Japan. 80 people. We'll be all stay together.
It's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
Dang.
I hope they don't run out of sushi at the places we go.
They will when we show up.
I'll go to McDonald's.
Yeah, there's. It's gonna be evening. We're gonna be like, there's a huge group of people missing. We're like, where'd they go? Oh, Gary's a Pied Piper down the road, leading everybody off to McDonald's.
Yep,
there they go.
So American. I love it. Such a stereotype.
Good.
Yo, but hey, the most packed McDonald's I've ever been to are in South America, Asia. You know, McDonald's. The world loves McDonald's.
They do. They love it so much that most of the places and spots like that are like 3 or 4 stories tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and Jose, Taco, I will be living off of Wagyu steaks. I love those things. Broke, but it's okay.
And ramen. I love ramen.
Ramen, yes.
Hell yeah.
McRamen, yes.
Way too pregnant to be talking about this much food, especially since we're not shitting ourselves anymore.
I'm making a pizza.
I haven't had dinner
hungry.
yet.
Yeah, I want dinner.
I'm making a pizza.
Hey, when are you going to Arizona? What are you flying out?
Yes, I'll be there Thursday.
Same.
I'll be there Thursday.
Are you Will? All right.
Yeah.
Are you
my brother and me, my younger brother's going, so we're landing at about the same time. So we might go do a quick hike. There's some mountains around, and then meet you all at the rendezvous. So
yeah, Gary, are you getting in Thursday or Friday?
Thursday night. I could theoretically leave tomorrow.
Yeah,
but it all depends on work. I guess I'm gonna be working there now. So my plans changed. My video plans changed.
How's that coming along?
It didn't happen. Yeah. I shit canned it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. What was I don't want to do it. I was going to do a Stranger Things part 1 review, but I'll probably wait till the whole series is over and do something.
Nice.
I spent 2 days on it and just went, nah. I think there's going to be an Avengers Doomsday trailer on Sunday night, so I'm going to do a video on that.
Dope.
Sick.
Nice.
I watched Dredd last night.
Dredd's awesome.
It's so good.
What is
such a good movie. It's Judge Dredd, but it's the Carl Urban version that came out in 2012 that flopped at the box office, but it's seriously one of the greatest comic book movies ever made.
Yeah, okay. I've watched it a dozen times. I like it as much as the original Blade movie.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a dinner for
that.
the speakers. You guys see that email? So if you guys make it there in time,
What time?
we're going to be in the lobby at 7 and take off.
7. Okay.
And just told all your guys fans that you're going to be because we're still live. Oh my god, this is why we're going to need to get security.
We did, didn't we? We
At some point in the future. No,
yeah.
you'll be fine.
Oh, they already know we're
Everything
there.
is so
they
nice
know
and
where we're
normal.
at.
That's
And
I mean, we're all in the
thank
same
you.
hotel, right?
Yeah,
So-
I'm just gonna hide behind Will. Will is a monster. He's 6'8". What are you? 6'8", 320 pounds.
I'm 6'5". 6'5".
I just every time I talk about Will, about how big Will is, he just gets bigger. Next time we have one, he'll be 7 foot,
My
he'll be
older
7
brother,
foot 4, 400 pounds.
my older brother, legit is 6'8" and like an actual giant. He's a monster.
Dude, that's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
We-
Your poor mother.
I know, right? God
How
bless
many
you.
brothers do you have?
I got 2 brothers. There's 3 of us.
3 of you.
Yeah.
Where do you fall in the line? I'm not
I'm the
analyzing.
middle child.
No way.
I was
Functional
a black
middle
sheep.
child.
Yeah, I was just a mess. I was like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and travel the world.
No, you turned out great, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit
Oh,
my
that's
job
so
that I got a degree for.
Right. Right.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do it.
Who works in their degree field?
Me.
Me.
Okay,
I guess
well,
I kind of do.
Well,
I was-
technically.
What's the
I
degree?
went to college to be
We
a
are
doctor.
technically, using our
well,
degrees.
Gary and I both got kicked out of high school multiple times, I think.
Nice.
And
Lore, baby.
I did try to go to college after I got out of the Army. I used my GI Bill, and I did, after 6 years or so, get an associate's degree. So I finished 2 years
That
Nice.
counts.
in 8
That
in
counts.
general studies.
It doesn't count.
General studies.
It's
So
the
there you go.
discipline.
It just
of
was
doing
never
it.
for me. It was never for me.
Okay. It took me
Cool.
5 years to get my associates, so
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
In
Doctor.
Britain, you have to get
I
4
basically could,
associate's
yeah.
degrees by the time you turn like 18 to be able to go and get your bachelor's. But I found my associate's degrees harder than my bachelor's. Like it's a way harder
mine was not.
way.
Yeah,
Well-
you guys are smarter, but we kicked your ass and
Well, we don't have any decent weather. We have fuck all else
Made
to
our
do.
own
It's
country.
just
Yeah.
basically like study, have sex, and like drink. Those are the 3 things that British people do, and we don't do anything else. So yeah, that's what it's like to be a teenager in Britain. You have to
On
do
the
your
island.
associate's degrees because it's raining all the fucking time. Anyway, you know. But I think we're good here, guys. I'm fucking exhausted.
I'm
This has been
I'm
I'm
amazing.
so
hungry.
hungry.
I'm
I'm
hungry.
hungry and
Hungry right
tired.
now.
and I probably am gonna have to clean up a mess too. My dog, he needs to go out every couple hours. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Beagle, sweet boy. Well, I'll see you guys this weekend remotely. Have the best time. Thank you, chat, everyone, for tuning in.
thanks
Love
guys
you
for jumping
guys.
in here and having
Thank you
fun
so
with us
much.
after Graham there. It's been awesome.
It was
Yeah.
a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Gary.
Thanks for
Nice to
coming.
See you this weekend.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
Bye,
Okay,
y'all.
All right.
bye.
All right, chat.
Bye.
I'm gonna end the stream.
Yeah, I was just gonna let feeding the ducks.
Feeding
Are
the
you
ducks.
pressing the button or am
Yeah,
I?
I'll
Pressing
I'll
the
press it.
button.